I would argue. And
I agree.
And I think you'd end up just losing your mind.
That's it. We're going live. Yeah. Ladies and motherfucking gentlemen.
Yeah.
What's up, boys?
What's up, man?
We're live.
It's
now
good to
now
be
other
here.
people can hear all the shit we've been saying.
Right?
It's hard to
do it
make
live.
the transition. We're doing it live. Fuck it. We'll do it live.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. We'll do it live.
To go from
Love that part.
Yeah, that's
The best.
What was that, Hard Copy or something like that he was on? Bill O'Reilly.
You're just freaking out.
That guy's such a blowhard. It's so amazing that guy's popular. I
He's
watched
very-
Not
he's a-
anymore, though, right?
No, he's still
He's kind of dying down a tad.
I know, maybe with guys like you, but you weren't watching in the first place. If you're an old lady, if you're post-menopausal
You're
old
into
lady.
Bill O'Reilly?
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's very.
That's his crowd.
He's really easy. Like he creates. He's like a sharp profile, right? So he'll make the issues really cut and dry, and really loud. And here are the lines.
Tide goes in, the tide goes out. You can't
Yes.
explain that.
There you go. That's
It's God.
Yeah.
I'm putting my money on God.
I read 2 of his books, and I read 2 of Ann Coulter's books to see what they were saying. And it was really interesting because I know why they're popular. If you package something in terms of good guys, bad guys, or, you know, like he wrote a book called Who's Looking Out for You. It was kind of an interesting book about, and he was very real about saying, look, I run in a circle of people that are really wealthy and powerful. Guess what? They don't really care about you because that's how human beings are when they have a lot of stuff going on.
Isn't Donald Trump
And he makes
saying
an
similar
argument.
stuff? A little bit. Your boy Donald Trump's kind of flying off the hinges.
Definitely
I think
definitely not my boy.
Well, yeah, he is. He's your best friend. I think he's just saying it for like X Factor. You know what I'm saying? Like he's just trying to stand out. He's wild as fuck.
Yeah, he's an egomaniac. When my buddy Jimmy Burke met Donald Trump, he said, Donald, huge fan of your buildings. I think your buildings are amazing, dude, and I love your tie.
What did Donald say?
Donald just kind of looked
Had him killed.
at Teddy Demi at the time, who was a director, the late Teddy Demi, and just went, Disney, okay, thanks. And he goes, but look at your tie. He kept saying your tie. It's like, you know,
So
no wonder
many,
your buildings
so many
are so
sponsors
cool.
have dropped him. So many after you made those comments about Mexicans and rape.
Yeah, he's an a-hole.
He's retarded.
And Anderson Cooper was like, you know, financially, you know, how much money have you lost? He goes, I don't know. I'm rich. I really don't care. I just don't care.
Merv Griffin. I did a show with him once, and Merv Griffin was, you know, insanely rich, as we know, and he also wrote, like, he was also an artist. Like, he wrote the theme song to Jeopardy and weird shit.
Well,
And you know who Merv Griffin is? You might be a little young.
I don't know who he is. I know the theme. You just said the.
He wrote
Yeah,
that.
he wrote the theme song to
Yeah.
a bunch of different shows, and when you do that, it's a slick move. That you get paid
Every
every
time?
time it plays.
That's dope.
And
Yeah.
there are a lot of examples of those kind of things that he did. He could play the piano and everything, but he was also a major mogul, like a tycoon, and wealthier than Donald
And
Trump.
ferociously gay.
Ferociously
with the dick. I met him.
Yeah, so ferociously gay.
I did a show with his company.
Try to grab your hog?
No, he was very friendly, but there's a look in his eyes like the door's always open. my
Oh,
friend.
dude.
The
I
door's
spent
always open.
Ferocious.
100%. He's just like a guy. I spent
Yeah.
a week with him.
What? Hold on.
Freeze.
Stop.
We were in
and
his
think
beach
about
house.
what I just
We're
said.
in his beach
Were
house.
you wearing flip-flops? Did he massage your feet?
Honestly, I spent a lot of time blindfolded. I can't remember. I can't remember a lot of that. But he was like my dad and an uncle at the same time.
Dad,
Oh,
uncle.
Jesus.
Bill Cosby was there. Yeah.
Yeah, and he and I said, how do you like run this empire? You know, because he created, like, he's the one who found Ryan Seacrest and put him on. He owns all these companies.
Did he really?
Yes.
Damn.
And he's
On the
got
radio. With Ryan did Ryan's show way back
Really?
when he was on the radio.
Right.
He still does radio.
Yes, he does.
Ryan Seacrest has $100 million. That motherfucker gets up every morning and does the radio from 6 to 9 a.m.
Crazy work ethic.
And
Crazy
you,
work
You
ethic.
listen to it, it's almost like they're not human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the people that call aren't human and he's not human. It's like a totally
weird.
different species.
Yeah.
He's so non-threatening. He's so
Exactly.
You know,
What's your favorite color?
he's another guy.
I like blue. All right, blue's great. Next caller. What's your favorite color? Like no
It's so
man.
weird.
There's no
It's
man
so-
in him.
Yeah, it's just all robot.
It's no-
hey,
there's no-
it's
there's-
Jamie from California.
Yeah.
What's your favorite food? That's how it is, right?
There's no man
Every
in
show.
He's
it's
another
like,
guy I spent a week with, always in a suit.
What the fuck?
Ryan
when are you spending
Seacrest?
time with
Ryan
these guys?
Spending
Seacrest.
weeks
I
with-
worked.
were you guys
I worked
together?
sort of for him. I did this TV show that I hosted, and it was called Bank of Hollywood. I don't want to talk about it.
Always in a suit.
He was always in a suit, and I would try
Expensive
to,
one too, right?
Yes, he looked good. He's a small guy, very small, about 135
Yeah, tiny.
pounds. And
135.
About him,
I
giving
did
him-
his show when he had a talk show. I didn't think he was that light. I think you're exaggerating.
No, 5'7", 135. I give him.
Come on.
I took him in. You know me.
You
I
did spend a week with him.
But you
Why
also
you
know,
spend
you
so
know how
long
I
with
take
him?
a man in. I'll take a man in visually and even physically.
It's too much.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at that stuff. And he ended up. I said it was interesting.
5'8".
Yeah, there you go.
Look at you. Back
I-
to Hollywood.
I don't want to talk about that. Let's
He's
take that down.
He's 5'8".
Wait, hey,
And-
Callen, you hosted a show, and what did Ryan? How was Ryan Seacrest not the host, and you were the host?
Well, because he was producing it.
Oh,
and they
gotcha.
paid me a lot of money for one day to do 4 episodes, and I was like, all right. And then I had the option to get out, and then I called my agent. I gotta
It didn't
get
go
out.
well?
I didn't like what it was.
What was it?
It was people basically asking for money, and I was duped into thinking it was more going to be like a talk soup thing. And the minute I got there, they said, we want to turn it into more of a talk show. And I said, that's not what I do. I don't want to do that. Blah, blah, blah.
A talk show.
Yeah, they kind of hit me literally when I got there. I thought it was going to be like I was going to be doing a lot of comedy, kind of a talk soup thing, making it funny, and that's how they presented it to me, and that's how the audition was. And I got there, and they all of a sudden they go, "We want you to wear a suit and just kind of read the teleprompter." And I went, "Ah."
Not your style.
Yeah, but I made a lot of money for a day, and I tried to make a connection with Ryan Seacrest as a guy, and he's just so professional. He's just kind of one of those guys where he went. I said, "How you doing, man?" He's like, he had made $13 million that year.
He's a robot.
I went, so what are you up to, man? You're single and stuff? He goes, having a lot of fun. And that was all I could get out of him. There was no detail.
He's always
There was no-
on.
It was
Yeah,
just, he
yeah,
wasn't willing
I don't
to
like
give
those
it.
guys, man.
Yeah, they
not my
scare
type
me.
of
Well,
dude. Yeah.
we may not know who he is.
What's your favorite color, Brendan?
I'm like, huh? It's just you and me, man. Who gives a fuck?
Purple's a good color. I think you'd look good in purple. Okay, caller number 3.
Like what?
My feet hurt. Well, feet can hurt. All right.
It's so weird.
Most of us have
We're
feet.
getting nowhere with this. Is what I tell him.
Well, you know what
are
it
we
is?
doing?
It's like he found a frequency. He found there's a station on the dial that was available, and it's a low hum, and he's
stuck there.
and you're not going to get any fucking craziness out of him.
Yeah.
You're not going to get any
Predictable.
wife smacking. You're not going to get any fucking drunk driving. You're not going to get any heroin.
Yeah.
He's a robot.
He's a
Even with his
robot.
wife.
That's a
hey,
great-
how about you suck my dick?
That's an
Probably not
amazing,
even asked.
description. He
Yeah.
found a frequency.
Yeah, it's like
Doesn't even
whoa, and it's like hosting American Idol, hosting like, come on, morning radio. All right, we're gonna give away a free donut.
like a Casey Kasem thing.
Donuts. All right, I love donuts too. We'll take the next caller. It's like he's not a human.
It's literally like it's a role like the Truman Show where people the rest of the world's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, it's very-
Tuesday. It's Tuesday. It's Donut Tuesdays, everybody.
Yeah, he's an odd dude, but he used to be more fuck aroundy on the radio.
Yeah.
When he used to do a radio show, I did his radio show way back in the day before he was famous, and he was more fuck aroundy.
Sure.
He was more controversial, but that was what happened. Was he hit the fucking motherload of money?
With American Idol.
Yeah.
Remember, it was 2 hosts, and they got one. I think one guy left, and he stayed. And then
yeah?
American Idol blew up.
Yeah, he's a monster.
People like him, and he works hard.
Oh,
and
he's a workhorse.
Well, he has a persona now, right?
Yeah.
Like you have a persona you got to
He's
keep
that
all the time.
He's that hum.
Fuck that.
Nothing
life,
high,
man.
nothing low, nothing crazy.
That's not a way to live.
No,
Yeah.
well, not for me or you.
Nah, can't be
But-
my friend.
You know what?
Can't be my friend.
If you don't have some chaos in you,
Can't be
I
my
don't
friend.
trust you. I
Can't
don't
trust you, bro.
I need a little self-destruction, sir.
Yeah,
I'm
you
sorry.
don't have nothing.
Yeah.
You can't.
I wonder why that is. Why do we look? My kindred spirits are dudes like that. The minute I hear there's like a little fucking darkness, I'm like, well, there we go, sir.
Yeah, I'm like,
a little
hey,
darkness, a little
welcome to the club.
self-destruction. Yeah. I mean, it's one of the things that we hit off with right away. I was like, oh, I could trust this guy.
Yes.
Like, right away, like
You're in
he's,
the circle of
he's
trust.
just as retarded as me.
You could
Yeah,
say,
man.
you could tell me anything.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I understand.
Of course. Anything.
Like literally, I gotta hide this body.
He,
Fuck, I get
my
a
favorite
shovel.
color's red, man. It's just fucking weird. It's really into red. There used to be this guy that used to go to the boxing gym that I worked out at, and he was gay, but he didn't want to admit he was gay. And he would tell us about stories about girls, and it was one of the most bizarre things. It was like, man, it was like on this dance floor, man, this girl came up to me and, just she totally started making out with me. And I was like, hey, back off. Like, what the fuck?
Just like,
It's like, what?
well,
What?
Interesting.
What?
Interesting.
What the fuck did you just say?
I remember in high school there was this guy. This guy used to get a lot of girls in high school. I remember one time he said, "I like to kiss girls, and then when they try to touch my chest, I say no, I'm not ready for that." because if they do that to me, I do that to them. And I remember I was 18.
What?
I was like, "You sir are the enemy.
You, sir,
I'm
are
afraid I
ISIS.
can't speak to you anymore. You fucking liar."
We were talking
and
about
phony."
there's some guys, especially like foreign guys. I have a lot of friends from England where you'll be like, "Yeah, I hooked up with this girl, man. She was a freak." To all of us, it's like, "Oh, cool, man. We know what
Right.
that means."
Yeah.
Right.
The
Yeah.
British guys are like, "Yeah, what'd she do? What exactly she do?"
What she
You're
do,
like,
mate?
Hey, man,
She's a freak.
Yeah,
So
relax.
how did it start?
Relax.
Did
Where'd
you
you
start
come?
out with making out? Did you talk dirty?
Yeah, it's weird.
Did you guys immediately start fucking? Did you wear a condom or no condom? What happens with the condom?
It's
Where'd
too
you
much,
come? Did you
man.
come somewhere?
Yeah,
The guy
how
from
weird
the
is
boxing
it?
gym, the way I described it is like I don't know how to speak French, but if you told me the words to say, I could say them, but I wouldn't know what the fuck I was saying.
Yeah.
Great way of describing a gay man trying to pretend he's straight.
Yeah, he was saying all the stuff that sorta.
Yeah,
you know,
kind
he's
of.
talking about being with a girl, making out. I was like, wait, what? It was all off. It was like, parlez-vous français? What?
It's off,
the
man.
fuck are you? I don't even know if you know what you're saying.
Yeah, that's so true. The small of her back, man. When my hand careens.
It's very important to be able to trust dudes.
Well, we were talking that one football player was on. What's that show we were talking about? Where they're like, "What's the most attractive part of a woman?" And I've always thought this guy was gay. And he's at the buzzer. And he's like, her feet. And everyone was like, "You, sir, like the way the dick tastes." As soon as I saw that, I was like, "Oh no."
Her feet.
That's
Every dude before him was like, "Them big ass titties for 3,000."
Right.
That fat ass for 1,000, Jim.
My answer would be I'd bang her if she didn't have feet. So it's not that important to me.
Yeah, my girl could have talent. I would have no idea. I don't give a fuck.
Right, just cover them up with a cloth.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. You
You could have hooves.
could have hobbit feet. I don't
How
know.
bizarre their feet.
Their feet.
The whole crowd was
best.
like, "Damn." It just ruined the whole show.
Sir, you're lying about your life.
Yeah, right.
Murph,
Like the most attractive.
back
I
to
just
ding, ding, ding.
concentrate on the feet. I just fuck her and stare at her feet.
Put them in my mouth.
Dude, sometimes there's those pornos where those dudes are getting jacked up with their feet. It's
yeah.
weird, huh?
Super common.
My old girlfriend.
Super common.
I had a girlfriend who told me that she used to date a guy who I knew who used to put her feet in his mouth when he was having sex, and I was like always jealous.
Boy.
I thought maybe you like that, and that's the one thing I don't do for you. I never
Wait,
tried
he
it,
would
though.
put her foot in
Yeah,
his mouth?
yeah.
That's not too
No,
weird.
it's
So
not.
she told you about that though, like
Yeah.
wanting you to do it.
Well, my dick was in my hand. No, yeah. Oh, no,
So
I
you
don't
were
know.
asking her about like shit she did with other dudes.
Of course, that's I get
weird.
deep into that stuff. I'm very curious, and I knew him, and she said that he would he loved her feet, and he'd put her entire foot in his mouth. I was like, well, first of all, I don't think I could do that.
Okie dokie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not
Some people
trying
are
to
into
deep
that.
throat
Wait,
anybody's
back
toes.
to Merv Griffin. Merv Griffin was, my friend went to have lunch at his house, and he had just hot as shit young dudes serving all over his mansion. Just like the best looking,
side
smooth,
pieces
smooth
everywhere.
boys. Yeah, just well groomed, muscled, beautiful young men.
If you're a young gay dude, that has to be the life.
He was
man.
about 65 at the time.
Well,
That's tough.
young gay gay dudes. Period. There's something to be said for that life.
Yeah.
Because first of all, they don't have kids unless they really want to. They have to go out of their
That's
way
true.
to have
It's a
kids.
beast.
So they have all this money, right? Because they have total disposable income.
Exactly.
Most of them don't have dudes they have to take care of unless they're like older guys that are like hanging on, and they have like these younger dudes that
Yeah.
don't have any money. and they just-
Liberace style, son.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They just drill
And there's-
these guys.
There's always that one couple of those
Here's the
young
keys.
guys.
Take the car. You know?
There's always the young twinks who are into
Oh, yeah.
older dudes.
Oh yeah. Well,
Into
it's not that
wrinkles.
they're into older dudes. They're just not into working.
Yeah.
They're not into working, so they get plowed.
You
and
gonna
these
work
dudes
though? You
yeah.
gonna work? You gonna work this dick?
You gonna work this
You
dick.
know, but it's not a 9 to 5, but you clocking in on these nuts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
There will be some work.
Yeah, you're gonna get that work
You ain't just
inside.
gonna be
yeah.
napping all the time, motherfucker.
Wake up with these old balls in your face.
Anytime they want, they have deals. You know,
They have
Yeah.
to.
I don't want any lip, no back talk.
Don't talk to me. I smack your
When I
face.
want my dick sucked, this is no conversation.
Bro,
this is suck the dick.
I heard of a girl. She was applying for a job out here at a doctor office, and it was like an assistant job. And the doctor had in the contract that you have to give him a blowjob a certain time during the day. That's some
Ooh.
shit. Type move, Doc. That's some shit.
Come
though.
on.
Swear.
In a contract?
Contract written into the contract.
You know what? You know what? That
How
may be.
could that be real?
I
What
don't
year
know.
was this?
It's very recent.
No, that girl could sue that guy so
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah, maybe.
That's a girl who
Or
wants
you
to
could
talk
suck
about
that
sucking
dick.
dick.
I
That's
was
a
going
girl
to say
who wants
that's
to
a
talk
girl
about
making a
sucking
story
dick.
up, and she wants you
She's-
to play doctor.
yeah.
She wants to play doctor with you, bro.
Well, I had her sign the contract. It was me. It was me. I'm not a doctor.
I had a white lab coat on.
Yeah, I proclaim myself a doctor.
I'm a doctor now.
Just come
Every
up with
Friday
an
at 3.
any level of expertise. I'm a doctor of Darce jokes.
Sign this.
It's so ridiculous. The idea that that could be true. I mean, it might be true. I just don't imagine.
I don't think you can make that a contract.
A girl would like
mean,
take
maybe
her
it's like-
cell
maybe
phone
it's a
out, take
deal.
a picture of that.
Maybe it's like a deal, you know what I'm
But
saying?
that's prostitution.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just don't think it's
So?
legal. Like, I don't think you can have a
You don't think that's going down somewhere around here?
I don't think you're allowed to have a sexual contract that would be binding.
Yeah.
Because I think that, like, it would be considered prostitution.
You could hide
Prostitution-
it, though. Maybe.
Like the Patriot Act?
Yeah.
Just bury it deep in the
Very
claw
deep where it
somewhere?
says favors at 3 p.m.
Oh, favors.
Favors.
Physical favors.
Physical errands.
Yeah.
I don't even think you could, like, put in a regular... Well, I guess you could put in, like, you have to rub my back.
Yeah.
Or you could just be like, hey, listen, everything looks good here. We agree on this. The deal is, it's not in the contract, but Fridays at 3 o'clock, you need to suck this dick.
Take a look at this.
There's a woman alive that wanted a guy to eat her pussy every Friday at 3 o'clock.
Oh, I'm sure there's some thirsty doctors, female doctors.
49, right?
Yeah.
Divorced.
Yeah.
Having nothing for like 6
Shit,
months.
if I didn't have this podcast, I thought I was going to have to start doing that shit. Fucking, yeah, I'll do it. Friday, 3? Okay.
We'll suck at 3. We'll suck in the afternoon.
I will suck your titties at 2 o'clock.
But in the old days, I'm sure they had contracts like that. But with all the laws against sexual harassment, I just
All those
highly doubt
pesky
it.
laws now.
Fucking laws.
Fucking up everything, man. Back
You
in the
sign
day.
the line.
Just the idea that you would have that in a
Yeah.
contract.
Well,
to
marriage
suck
is
the
not.
doctor's dick.
In marriage is not binding. You don't have to have sex in a marriage. It's up to.
It's given, though, right?
I don't know.
Well, it's not though, because we all know guys that don't do anything. They have a marriage with
basically
a
have
woman,
roommates.
and they have a roommate, and they take care of their kids together.
Yeah, that's right.
We both know quite a few families like that. And we'll get together. Brian and I will get together. And go, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Because they'll tell you, like, we haven't had sex in a year. We haven't had sex in 2 years.
It's amazing to me.
My buddy was poor most of his life. Okay, I mean, like the most he had ever made as an actor was like $40,000 a year. That was like his best year. Then he got a television show. Immediately after the television show, his wife divorces him, and now she wants for the next, because they had been married for 10 years. She wants for the next 5 years half of what he was making when he was on the television show in alimony. And like, first of all, everybody who, if you get a television show, if you're lucky as fuck,
Yeah.
it goes a year.
Yeah.
If you're lucky as fuck.
Save that money.
If you're crazy lucky, it goes 2 years. If
Yeah.
you hit to a show, you get a show that's on syndication. Oh my God. How many people get to a show that's on syndication?
Very few.
Very few. She ignored all the years that they were together. All the years where they were together, he was struggling. Like more than 10 years.
She ignored all those.
Ignored
years.
all those
Yeah.
years. Concentrated only on the 1 year that he was on a sitcom and wanted half of that money. Damn. So
amazing.
That's
and
that
he had a
O.J.
kid.
Simpson shit, man.
Well, and he had a kid.
We freaked the fuck out.
So it was weird. It was very hard for him.
Because
Very
you
hard.
have to maintain that lifestyle, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's the idea.
Yeah.
The idea that he was supposed to maintain her lifestyle. And it was really hard because he has a son and he loves his kid. And he wasn't having sex with his wife. He hadn't had sex with her for over a year.
See,
And so-
that to me is already like. There are so many people that ignore that major elephant in the room.
Sex.
Yeah, man. If you're
Are you-
married,
Are you trying to get me to cheat on you?
right?
I mean, if we're not having sex, what do you think's going to happen?
well, but
Yeah.
that never is like I know two people who are in marriages like that, and they don't really discuss that. And I'm always like, how are you living your life this way, man?
Yeah, how are you?
Well, it's the same guys too. Like when I was back in Denver, my buddies, I was like, "Hey, let's go out." And they're like, "Oh man, what should I tell my girl?" I'm like, "What? Tell her you're fucking going out, man." Like, I know, but we gotta come up with a plan. I'm like, "What's the fucking plan, man? Just tell them we're gonna go out."
Yeah.
And they're all like worried.
Yeah.
It's the same guys, man.
It's weird. But you got me thinking about being an actor. Like, you talk about if you had to just rely on fighting, making a living. I really feel that way about acting. Like, thank God for the podcast and stand-up. I can't imagine having to worry about making my living as an actor. And guess what? I work as an actor.
Well, it's also it's a confining thing with you. Like you're at your best, like on podcasts,
Yeah.
or doing stand up, because you're free. You could be you. Like no one is ever going to write you correctly. They'll write a caricatured version that you'll do your best to try
Right.
to spice up. But also, you need their approval. You need to be cast. You need to be a part of like a cast of people. You need to get along with everybody. You got to get to the set when they say. You got to do all those things are against what you are. What you are is this weird free spirit who grew up all over the world, and you know you kind of were on your own a little bit too much, and so you made friends in weird ways, and so you developed this fucking crazy personality. But it translates as into funny. It's a fucking Willy Wonka golden ticket.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a Willy Wonka golden ticket to funny, but. That is just like it's like a side job, and people get stuck in that side job.
Did you go on
I said-
auditions? Did
Yeah.
you go on a bunch of auditions?
I got a crazy story.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
I'm
this is
gonna
a
go
great
back
story.
to you. I just want to know auditions.
I love this story.
The only 2 auditions I ever went on when I first started doing like the acting thing. I've got the TV shows.
Yep.
The only 2 I ever went on. A show called Hardball, got it, and then a show called News Radio, got it.
I remember
Those are the only
that.
2 auditions I ever did.
And you got
Yep.
both of them.
I got both of
How
them.
rare is that?
It's impossible.
You're
It doesn't
batting
make any
1,000.
sense.
It's see ya.
I have 2 shows that went to syndication. That's insane. That doesn't make any sense.
Then he went on an audition, and the director asked him to do it a different way, and he goes, "You called me right after it." And he goes, "You know what? Nah."
Well, Artie
Excuse me.
Lang. Artie Lang was in the movie, and that was the only reason why I was willing to do it in the first place. I was going to do it with Artie.
Right.
And the guy goes, "All right." I read it as prepared, and then he goes, "Okay." The director was a little annoying too, really pompous English guy, and he goes, "Okay, what I want you to do now is you are trying to get him very interested in being married, okay? You're married, and you're going to write this down on a piece of paper. Here's a pen, here's a marker, and you're gonna write just married, and you're gonna hold it up like you're trying to convince him that you want him to be married." I go, "Listen, first of all, I'm not acting. I'm not sitting here talking to Artie Lang, okay? I'm talking to a PA who could barely read. The dude barely could read. I mean, he was reading it like
Floyd Mayweather?
"Do you think it's a good thing for us to be out like this at night?" Fuck. "Is it a good thing? Come on, man.
Yeah.
We're going to go have fun."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be convincing this guy that marriage is the key to him. "I want you to write just married on this piece of paper." I go, "If we were on the set and you wanted me to help write your movie, you wanted me to help make the movie better, I would ad-lib a whole scene where I say just married." I go, "But I'm not going to do that.
Not your style.
I go, not here." I go, "We're in a conference room."
No one
I go,
does
"This is a PA." I go, "No, I'm not going to do that. Like, this is what the fuck are you
And then
trying
you
to
just
do?"
pieced out?
Yeah, I said, "I don't want to do this."
No.
And I left.
That was the last time you acted, I think.
No, I did Kevin James
Yeah, I know.
movies,
Yeah.
but
that's right.
No, I know that,
but I
but-
only did them because I like Kevin.
Right.
But my agent called me up. "You can't do that." I'm like, "Guys, fuck. What do you mean I can't do that? I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. Don't tell me I can't do that."
I think you're one of the only guys who can pull that off, right?
I couldn't pull it off. I didn't pull it off. I didn't get the role.
No.
I tanked out.
Yeah,
Right.
but that personality trait is what got you to where you're at. We're like, no, I'm not doing this.
Maybe
Fuck that.
it depends.
Because there's a lot of
it's
guys
hard
who
to be
do
an
that.
actor though with that personality trait because what
I
happens
agree.
is it's such a collaborative effort. That,
No, I knew. I could see through the fucking looking glass that this was an unbelievable steaming log of a movie.
Yeah.
It was a
Oh, you
pile
didn't want to be
of shit.
associated with it.
I didn't want. I felt it coming. I knew it was coming. Look, I had already done a bad sitcom when I did that Hardball show. It was a
Right.
bad sitcom, and it started off good, but all these fucking other people got involved, and the original writers were really funny guys that were on The Simpsons and Married with Children, but then they got all these fucking professional
Yeah.
hack guys who make these hacky sitcoms and
make jokes like they
ruined it. So
write jokes in.
I've been there before, and it's hell. You would think it's easier to work a job than it is to work a show where like it could be funny and it turns out to be awful because you're so conflicted as a comic when you know something is really bad. It's like
funny. You'll know if it's gonna work.
If it was a difference between like getting paid to work at the fucking lumber yard, you know, carrying logs, but it paid you $25,000 a week, you'd be like, oh. Well, you know, or a sitcom that pays you $25,000 a week, but it's terrible.
You'd rather carry
I
the
swear
logs?
to God, it's better to carry the logs.
Fuck that.
Because the logs don't make you feel bad.
Yeah.
After it's over, you don't feel like you're
like you're
selling
cheating
your
yourself.
soul.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
feel like you're
when
just working.
When you key into that, like I had to really have a talk with myself. I came out here to be an actor, 20 years. I studied it for years, and I you know, blah blah blah. And I'm doing a show now. The other day, and I was talking to my mother, and I said, I've never been on a set as an actor where I wasn't looking forward to it being over. Like I was, yes. Now think about that. It's been my whole life. I worked really hard at being an actor. I really did. Have I been successful? Moderately. But I worked hard at it and spent a lot of time in traffic going to auditions and spent a lot of anxiety trying to get jobs. Sometimes I got them. Most of the time I didn't. But even when I've landed big jobs, I've never been on a set where I couldn't wait for it to be over.
Did you wake up excited though?
Nope. I sure
Then
didn't.
why the fuck do it?
Well, that's why I do podcasts and stand-up now. And when I get an audition...
You still go on some auditions, though, right?
Sometimes.
Not a ton.
Yeah, I auditioned for Wonder Woman. Haven't heard back from Patty.
You should get it. I love when we're at Abbott Kenny grabbing lunch and you're like, fuck, I should be on an audition.
What do you mean?
When you might have an audition coming up, but we're at lunch.
And I forgot.
And you're all, fuck it.
And I forgot.
No, you're just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, it's because everything's going well.
Yeah, man.
Look, you're great at being Bryan Callen. That's the real problem.
It's the best.
That's what I'm good at. I'm good at being me, man. You're good at being you. You know,
Yeah.
like there's
It's true,
something
bro.
in that, and you can't manufacture that.
No.
You know?
I've cried. I've cried on auditions where I've cried in a very dramatic scene, and I got 7 people I don't know looking at me, and I'm fucking crying, but doing the lines, and I'm fucking good. Didn't get it, but still crying. And I'm walking out, wiping my tears. They're like, Bryan, you're a very fine actor. I'm like, thank you very much, man. You know, I think that's the character.
It's the art.
Driving
Like,
home, part of me dying inside.
There's nothing wrong with really enjoying that. Like my friend Stephen Root from News Radio.
Great actor.
Who's a great actor. He's been in
And a great
Boardwalk Empire. Fantastic guy.
Yeah.
He's been in Boardwalk Empire, Office Space, a million different movies. That guy is hilarious. And he's always working, and he loves becoming a new character. He loves, he has a craft.
So people love it,
Bradley
right?
Cooper.
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper loves acting
it.
more than anything.
Yeah.
Like was in the actor studio and obsessed over the little details about the character and how his shirt is.
Yeah.
Listen, man, that's why he can do American
Exactly.
Sniper.
We
and
need those
sit
guys.
there.
You
Yeah.
need those
We
guys.
like to go to
Well,
movies.
there's
There's the same thing in fighting too. There's some guys who love that shit.
Yes.
Like the Diaz brothers love to be in the
Yes.
thick of things, getting hit in the face.
Rafael Dos Anjos.
Guess who doesn't?
loves
Yeah.
it.
This guy. See ya. I don't want to do that. I don't like getting
Are
hit in
you
the
done?
face.
Can we say officially you're done? Are you
say it,
done
brother. Don't
officially?
say it.
Say it. Don't
Take
listen
a
to
deep
him.
breath.
Listen to me. It's over.
Devil angel.
Am I the
It's
devil or am I
over.
the angel?
No,
I get
I'm just
confused.
kidding. No, I get confused. You're
I
both,
don't know who I
man.
am when I
Listen,
do it.
dude, you if you don't like making a lot of money talking and doing what comes naturally, and if you'd rather go in there and get punched in the face by monsters, please, whatever you want to do.
continue.
I'm just here to support whatever decision you make. Take a deep breath and don't say anything.
You know what the thing is? I'm not officially doing anything. For me, it's just things are going so good. It's just like, and with the Reebok deal and all that stuff, I just don't like the direction that it's going. It doesn't make sense to me. So I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and
He's going to suck down to 85. There, I
I'm
said
gonna
it.
suck down to 170.
85, 170. Could you imagine?
Just like dead.
Jesus Christ.
dead.
Could you imagine what you would look like at 170? You would be a skeleton.
They'd
I'd
have to put him
die.
in a
I'd die.
coma. They'd have to put him in a medically induced coma for 5 months.
Oh,
and
well,
then
this is
he'd
a
come out.
good point to talk about because now that they're the new standards, the new testing standards, they're not allowing IVs anymore.
Why?
fucking stupid.
Explain that to me.
Well, because you could blood dope. So they're checking for
It's dangerous, though, 'cause-
levels of plastic
But it's dangerous when you do that because it takes, they say, almost 7 days to fully hydrate your cells the way they were when you were drinking. And like with an IV, you can hydrate much faster. Head trauma is way more likely when you're dehydrated and you don't have time in 24 hours to drink yourself hydrated the way you could with an IV.
I think they're taking it too far now. They're taking it a little too far.
Okay, but is there an argument to be made for the fact that they're just going to cut out weight cutting now, and that would be better for everybody? Or would they never cut out weight cutting? Would people take a chance and fight dehydrated?
Dudes are always going to cut weight.
Do you know Andy Foster? He's the director of the California State Athletic Commission. Andy Foster is as far as I'm concerned, he's the most hard-line guy. He's a guy who's been involved in martial arts for a long time. He's fought, and he's a real fan and a fucking smart guy, and he runs a tight ship.
California's tight ship.
I love this guy. I love what he's doing. But he suspended Shlemenko for 3 fucking years.
For steroids, right?
Mm-hmm. What? Shlemenko pissed hot. He suspended him for 3 years. He essentially canceled his career. Like, that's
100%.
Damn.
Do you think that's fair or no?
There's a debate. I mean, I don't know. I part of me goes, I like the fact that he takes a hard line that people can't do steroids anymore. But another part, like, this guy doesn't have a chance now. He can't even get off of them.
No, but he can get out of California and fight.
No. I mean, he can fight in like China or some
he
shit.
can fight in China. He can go to fucking wherever.
He's got a contract with Bellator. I don't even think he can do that. Like, that's the Vanderlei Silva thing. Like, when Vanderlei Silva ran away from the test, which, by the way, Vanderlei Silva was exonerated. He got they gave him a lifetime ban in California, but the court decided that was invalid. You can't do that, which is great.
He should retire anyways.
He should retire. Yeah. Vanderlei's had some crazy wars, and he's an all-time legend. If I had to say, like, my favorite fighters, the fighters that, like, when they're about to fight, and I went, Vanderlei's right up there.
Right up
top
there.
Of the list.
Yeah.
Top of the list. When you saw Vanderlei Silva fight in Pride, you saw some fucking chaos.
Crazy shit.
By the time I got to see him fight live, it was already, he was already
when he had
at
that face surgery?
Yeah.
Like, damn, bro.
Well, he had to do
Relax.
that.
I know
his
with the scar
nose was
tissue
completely flattened.
Yeah, but his face wasn't.
His scar tissue was so bad in his eyebrows that he would just get nicked and it would just open up a giant gash. It was just all scar. Like, there's some close-up photos of Vanderlei's eyes. Like, you see the amount of scar tissue he had.
He's been through some wars, man. When I found out Gilbert Melendez tested positive for steroids, I almost fell out of my chair. He's the first one where I was like,
me, it was John Fitch.
Nah. John Fitch, I was like, whatever.
But John Fitch
Gilbert
always used
Melendez,
to talk about
though?
it. I know.
What?
I know.
That's fucking insane.
But that leads me to the question of, if they have such stringent testing for steroids, I feel like you're not going to see guys fighting into their 30s. They're not going to be able to compete. And I think Gilbert Melendez, who, is an all-time warrior. He's one of my favorites, just period.
He's great. I think he's an animal.
I love that guy. And I think that, Gilbert Melendez or people like that who are now in their 30s training on that level, I think what you're going to see is, it's not possible. You could make the argument that it's not possible to fight on a high level
so then you
like
gotta retire.
that at 30 in your 30s without some help.
Okay.
Okay,
Game
but
over.
just know that
it's evolution. Game over.
Okay, but so your career is going to last, let's say, half as long. That's a hard pill to swallow for dudes who dedicate their whole life.
Look
right?
at me.
I know.
I get it.
I know.
I'm just saying that. If you can't compete anymore, and you got to do steroids, then it might be time to be like, all right,
it's
fuck
just
it.
so
like Bigfoot
widespread.
Silva. Maybe this isn't the life for you.
Well, he's an interesting case because he's got a legit medical issue. He's
I agree.
A tumor in his pituitary
I know,
gland.
and he needs that shit.
He's a different case.
Yeah.
But he was a totally different animal when he fought Mark Hunt.
Completely
juice to the
different.
tits. He could take monster bombs to the head. I mean, Mark Hunt hits as hard as fucking
Hardest
anybody.
in the world.
He's one of the best strikers ever in the heavyweight division, and Mark Hunt hit him with bombs, and him and Bigfoot went 5 fucking rounds of death. It's so much so that I have a Roots of Fight jacket that Dana White had made, Mark Hunt Bigfoot Silva 2. And he was so hyped up about the rematch that he had Jesse from Roots of Fight make a limited run of these Mark Hunt Bigfoot Silva 2 shirts, and then the test came out, and he got busted for having silverback gorilla levels of testosterone.
That's what I'm saying, though. But
Yeah.
so if he's gonna do that stuff, okay, you can't compete. Go find something else. Go do jiu-jitsu.
But he's really good, you know. He's a good fighter. I mean, you watch his knockout of Overeem. I want to see that guy fight.
Yeah.
So, do you say that they're all allowed to have a certain level of testosterone?
I think that's what you have to do. I think with this new testing that they're doing, we're going to see more guys get busted. We're going to see a watered-down version of the UFC, which we don't need right now, right? It's already kind of watered down with how many shows we're putting on. I keep saying we like I'm fucking working on the bus. But how many shows the UFC puts on is becoming a little too much.
Yeah.
Well, now you take away you do all this testing, you're going to get guys not doing shit, and you're going to get some bullshit fights.
Well, that's what Pedneras and Aldo were saying. You know, they were saying, look, like, you want to test? Okay, you could test, but you're going to have less exciting fights.
100%.
Yeah, it's true.
And that's a real question. I mean, I don't know. I feel like if I were if I had a favorite baseball player, and I mean, I'm not trying to. It's so complicated in a way. Like I had a favorite baseball player, and his bat speed starts slowing down in 31, 32. And with testosterone, he could play for another 6 years.
I want to see him play for 6 years.
Too.
Yeah. Well, how about?
And I guess I sympathize
Roger Clemens
a lot with it.
Yeah, man.
Roger Clemens is in his 30 or in his 40s.
39, yeah, 40. Yeah.
He got up in age and he was actually getting better.
Yeah.
He's throwing fantastic.
I don't have a problem with that.
No.
If Michael Jordan could have played 10 more years doing steroids, let him do it.
But there's a difference between that and fighting, right?
I agree 100%.
And Ronda
Because fighting hurts the other guy. Like
yes. Well, Ronda Rousey did an interview once, and she said it best. She's like, this person, if they're on steroids, they can land shots they wouldn't be able to land. They wouldn't have the energy to land if they weren't on it. They would be able to get things off.
Blood doping,
they could hurt.
testosterone.
They could turn the tide. They could wind up winning. They can do things they couldn't do if they were normal and natural.
Combat sports is different. I agree, because you're talking about health concerns.
Yeah, well, you're talking about doing damage to somebody, and that damage could essentially be permanent. Like, no one knows better than you that the amount of training that you have to do in order to get in tip-top shape to fight is fucking ungodly.
Insane.
It's ungodly.
Well, you said that you can only really maintain that level of fitness for like 2 weeks before shit starts popping and breaking.
You only have the peak before you're about to fight, you've got a month. You got about a month at that level, at that really high level.
Before shit starts
when you're
breaking
doing
down.
3 a days, wrestling practice, fucking battle ropes, and fucking deadlifts and all that crazy shit, and you're going to war. You're ready to go to war. You got that fucking engine redlined, and you can only do it for so long. And the amount of effort that you put in, there's a direct correlation between the effort that you put in and what you can do when you actually get into the octagon on fight day. Mm-hmm. If you're a guy like Dos Anjos versus Anthony Pettis is a perfect example. Dos Anjos trained like a fucking wild demon, and because of that, he had this insane cardio. Mm-hmm. He was working out with the Marinovich's guy, Nick Curson. You listen to that podcast, right?
Yes.
Curson's a fucking genius, man. And he was talking about the strength and conditioning work those guys did. I mean, he's breaking them.
Yes.
Just breaking them.
Another level.
Like, Marinovich had BJ Penn in the best fucking shape of his life. But when BJ talked about it, he's like, I couldn't hold my daughter in my arms when I got home. God. I would get home from training, I couldn't hold my daughter. Like, he would try to hold his daughter. He's like,
what the fuck?
But when it came time to fight time, and Diego Sanchez was in front of him, we got to see all-time great BJ Penn. When BJ looked across the fucking cage, he has those crazy eyes. You're like, oh.
The best.
Yeah.
Dude.
I think the person who has it
I
down.
got a fucking BJ Penn jacket, motherfucker.
Damn.
Deals.
That's right. Look at that.
BJ Penn.
The prodigy, bitch.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that at all. Roots of fight style. No, I
mean, that-
the person who has it down too, who was kind of the first person that talked about doing these short camps, was Ben Henderson. We did an event together, and I forget who I was fighting, but I was like, yeah, about to go into camp, man. He's like, when's your fight? I was like 3 months. He's like, camp? What the fuck are you going to camp for right now? I was like, when do you do your camp? He's like, 5 weeks, man. I train so much. When I go into camp, everything's redlining, so I just 5-week camps.
But he's never out of shape. He's always
never out of
training.
shape. He's a lighter guy, and he's always in the gym.
Yeah.
But he's saying when 5 weeks out, he's sparring, doing 3 a days. He can only do that for that long.
Yeah.
And he's not getting hurt. You see Ben, he's never hurt.
I've never seen him
Never.
get tired either.
He's the
He's
best.
an animal. And I like the fact that he's going up to 170, and now that they're taking away the IVs, you're going to see a lot of that. You're going
are?
to see a lot of
Yeah.
that. Yeah, a lot of guys are going to be forced to, but also you're going to see a lot less endurance because I guarantee you guys were blood doping. Guarantee you. I know for a fact guys were blood doping. I know for a fact.
Fighting for 25 minutes. Anybody who's ever wrestled for 6 minutes or 9 minutes, God forbid, when it goes in overtime or whatever, that's such a long time. It's such an eon. It's when you literally want to die in 6 minutes. It's the craziest shit in the world. 25 minutes, when I watch these guys kicking, punching, and wrestling for 25 minutes, it's kind of unnatural. I don't know how you get in that kind of shape. I mean, you do, but
there's a lot of guys
help.
who do it. No,
Sure,
no,
I mean, they're elite athletes. I get it.
Well, no. Don't get it twisted. A lot of guys get in that shape without all that shit.
Yeah.
I've never used shit in my life. I
Right.
was in crazy shape.
Sure.
Man. So don't get it twisted.
But it's hard.
Guys
It's
like
just
Ben Henderson
a lot.
they don't even sniff protein powder. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he takes supplements.
Yeah, but there's a lot of guys that don't take anything,
yeah.
and they're fine. And they're fine. They're freaks. They're fine.
There's certainly genetic advantages that
for
some
sure.
people have. Some people absolutely have genetic advantages. And, you can't get around that. There's just, no matter.
You also can't get around guys using steroids looking for advantage because there's so much money involved in the sport, and it's an individual sport. Steroids, I don't give a fuck if you test a guy every single day. Steroids will find its way to the game. It's part of history.
I was watching Chris Camozzi versus Jacare, the second fight. And
Went exactly like this first one.
What's that? Well, yeah, exactly.
Thanks
the first
for
one.
nothing.
And I was watching this, and I was thinking to myself, okay, this is, first of all, Chris Camozzi's got balls. He's a tough fucking dude, okay?
As game as they come.
Game as they come. Takes his fight short notice against a guy who already beat him, already strangled him the first time they fought, right? So here he is again with this fucking monster in front of him, right? He got arm triangled like a white belt in the first fight.
Yeah.
He's got, Jacare could do that to black belts.
He could do it to anyone in the
Yeah,
UFC.
I mean, he'll just manhandle you. He just runs right through you, right? His jiu-jitsu is so tight. He's so fucking physically strong.
Where did he learn his jiu-jitsu? Where did he come out
It's
of?
Brazil. He's
Yeah,
Brazil.
I know, but what school was there?
That's a good question.
Good question.
That's a good
He's
question.
a multi-time world champion.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Point is, I was watching those two together, and I was watching them move around. Jacare's closing the distance on him, and I'm like, these are two different species. This Jacare
You mean
is
like
such a
physically just-
super athlete.
Yeah.
He's fucking shredded. He's got giant pythons for arms. His biceps go down to his forearm. Like when I met Jacare, the first time I met Jacare was before he even was doing MMA. He was only doing jiu-jitsu. I met him in 2003 in Brazil. His bicep goes down to here.
Wow.
It goes down like it's
He's a freak,
longer
man.
than
Yeah.
it's supposed to be.
That leverage
It's
makes you
not-
insanely strong.
It's just he's just got so much jujitsu
He's
strength.
born to choke.
And he's a great athlete. He's
Yes.
just a natural, and he
And his work
works
ethic is
hard.
insane.
He's an animal. But
It's like Yoel Romero.
yeah,
It's similar.
exactly.
Yeah.
You're like
Different
Yoel,
animal.
Yoel Romero is actually a better example.
So what do you do? So if you're Chris
nothing-
Camozzi,
But what I'm saying is, if you give Chris Camozzi all the steroids in the world, he's not going to beat Yoel Romero.
Yeah.
He's not going to be that guy.
No.
He's never going to be that guy. He's a different guy. I mean, Camozzi's tough as shit. He'll beat the fuck out of a lot of dudes at 185. He's world class. But that Yoel Romero guy, when you watch that guy chase after Machida,
So sick.
and he's fucking 40.
So
he's
what-
40.
And they say
so
that
what
he's
should
got a
Chris do?
learning curve. His learning curve is so
if you're
ridiculous.
Chris, what do you do?
It's a good question. It's a good question.
You can see why guys
Okay.
are like, fuck it.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you can
Well,
do.
it's the same thing that people who are not that athletic just don't play in the NFL now. It becomes, this sport is, if the money's going to be there, this sport is going to attract more Yoel Romeros and Jacares.
Yeah,
you know?
but just because you're not Yoel Romero or you're not Terrell Owens in the NFL
Well,
doesn't
fighting's
mean
a
you
little
shouldn't
different.
play.
Right. And fighting might be different because there's so much skill and technique.
Fighting's
Right,
different
I mean-
because less than 1% are Ronda Rousey's or John Jones or Cain Velasquez.
There's
less
also
than one.
There's
Right.
also some people like genetically have power.
Yes.
And you won't get that. You're not going to get it.
You just can't get it.
You can't get
You
it.
don't have the scaffolding.
There's like
you know?
these exactly like these Mike Tyson characters. Like you can't. You can teach Mike Tyson perfect technique. You can show Mike Tyson how to throw punches perfectly and how to. But what you're never going to do is develop that kind of power
called
unless you
genetics.
have that body.
Yeah, it's genetics.
You,
There's nothing you can do.
Like Floyd Mayweather is, in my opinion, the best boxer ever.
I
If
agree
you
with
want
that.
to talk about boxer, he gets hit the least. He's beaten everybody in front of him.
Everyone.
It's arguable that his era is not as talented as the era of Sugar Ray Leonard or all those other guys, but when it comes to like the ability to hit and not get hit, in my opinion, he's the best.
agree.
He's not my favorite. My favorite is Roy Jones Jr.
I agree.
Because Roy Jones Jr.
Knock
was
a
a
bitch out.
motherfucker. He was a motherfucker, and he just had his own style. There was just like so much about Roy Jones that was just, and in his prime during those few years where he was redlined and when he was at the top, virtually untouchable.
Untouchable.
The only guy
And
to
knocking
ever
dudes out.
dead.
That's the difference between
Hitting
him
so
and Mayweather.
hard, too.
body
Yeah.
shots.
And clowning dudes.
Clowning dudes and putting his hands behind his back and
Yes.
knocking guys out with one punch.
Making a show of it.
Yeah, I mean, he knocked out Virgil Hill with a body shot.
Crazy.
With the right hand, not even on the
Nasty.
liver.
Yeah.
Right.
Threw it on the left side of his body. Whack! Go to sleep. Just he hit you so goddamn hard.
I think the thing in fighting, I don't mean to interrupt you.
But I'm going to get
Go
to the
ahead.
power thing. But Floyd Mayweather will never be able to punch like Tommy Hearns. He'll never be able to punch like Julian Jackson. He'll never be able to punch like John the Beast Mugabe or Marvin Hagler.
They don't have his footwork, though.
That's true.
Or his elusiveness.
Absolutely. He's a better boxer.
Yes.
He's a better boxer. But that power thing, you either have that thing or you do not have that thing.
Correct.
And you can't teach it to people.
Yeah.
You know?
The difference in fighting these other sports, let's say I'm let's see, there's 53 guys on the NFL roster. Let's say I'm the 50th best player on the San Francisco 49ers. I'm making a good living. I'm really not suffering that much damage. Let's say I'm the 50th ranked fighter in the UFC. It's not a pretty life, man. It's not great.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
Because I'm still doing exactly what the number one guy is doing as far as getting hit, competitions, fighting, camps, everything, but I'm not getting the same payment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's very
Yeah,
tough.
and you're getting hurt all
You're
the
getting
time.
hurt.
You're getting battered all the time. You think about what you're making a year. You're making like $30,000 a year. Or
Well,
something like that.
think about Jose Aldo.
Yeah.
Think about Jose Aldo. All the press he did for the UFC, right? You don't get paid for that press.
Not only that,
His camp. Think about his camp. Then he has to go through all that, and then he gets hurt. What? 12 days, 14 days before the
15
fight.
15 days out,
So
yeah.
all that work, you don't get.
Yeah.
You don't get paid for any of that.
What's your? Are you excited about this Chad Mendez kind of?
Very excited.
Yeah.
Very
Can I
excited
ask you
about that
why-
fight. As excited as Aldo, if not more.
Really?
Yeah. Up. Yep.
Do you think that it's obviously a very, they have this golden boy, Conor McGregor, and, it feels like Chad Mendes is this is a big challenge because
I think Chad Mendes should be the favorite.
wrestler.
I think he should be the favorite.
100%. He should be.
I'm
the
just
favorite.
amazed that somehow, some way, they didn't choose someone like Nate Diaz. Why did they choose
What?
Chad Mendes over this?
First of all, Nate Diaz is in a different weight class. He's never made 145 in his life.
That's true.
Second of all, Chad Mendes knocked Ricardo Lamas dead. Dead. With one punch.
I
He
think
just
I know-
smashes dudes, goes after guys. He's
what
a
I'm saying is
destroyer.
that we
This is
won
what
5
you're
hard
saying.
rounds.
It's a bad, and I got to agree with Brian on this. I think it's a bad business idea for the UFC to put Chad Mendes in there. I think if there's two horrible matchups for Conor, Chad Mendes, Frankie Edgar. Let's do whatever we can to get Conor to fight Aldo in October.
See, I disagree. I think Chad Mendes easily could be as big a star as Conor McGregor. He wouldn't talk like Conor McGregor did, but neither did George St. Pierre. George St. Pierre was the biggest pay-per-view star of all time because he was a gentleman and he was a he was.
No.
George St.
I'm
Pierre
saying
got
George,
million pay-per-view
George
buys.
and Chad Mendes is
Chad
a
Mendes
different
got
animal.
beat twice by Jose Aldo. That's
But the
what I'm
last
saying.
fight was razor close,
Yeah, it was.
and there's an argument that could be made that if they fought in America, he would have won that decision. There's also an argument to be made that if Jose Aldo didn't land that late punch after the first round that knocked Mendes down,
It's a different
had
fight.
Mendes very hurt, it could have been a very different fight. Chad Mendes, who knows how badly he got hurt by that late
Either
punch.
way, he's lost to him twice. It's
true, but-
and so then he beats. Let's say worst case scenario for the UFC. If I'm the UFC marketing team, it's like God, Conor cannot get exposed. Let's not. If he goes in and gets
But
knocked
why-
out in the first round,
I don't think like
what are we
that.
going to do?
I don't think
do
like that.
I do because who's your biggest star right now? Ronda, Conor.
Yes. I
Conor
think
goes in there. He's talked all this
Connor's-
trash that we love.
Connor's actually probably a bigger star than Ronda,
I agree,
which is crazy.
and he would be by far the biggest star if he wins this fight.
Let me tell you something. If Chad Mendes goes out there and starches him,
Still not
he's
as big as
giant.
Conor.
Man, I don't know about all that. I'll tell
disagree,
you.
brother.
Let me tell you this. Here's some real facts. The numbers of tickets that are sold for this fight. Okay, this is going to break box office records in Vegas. Dana White told me that the tickets had plateaued. Nobody was buying more tickets. When Aldo pulled out and then Conor was forced to fight Chad Mendes, ticket sales spiked.
Really?
They went crazy.
I wonder how many were available though.
There wasn't much available, but people were buying them, scalping them.
Chad's family and friends bought tickets.
Dude, I'm telling you, there's a real spike. I don't know what the numbers are, but I'm telling you, it's enough for Dana to talk to me about it on the phone.
You have Chad Mendes favored in this fight.
This is the thing. Conor McGregor could knock out any man in the world at 145
because of his
pounds.
power.
He's got some serious fucking hands.
Yeah.
Serious fucking hands. He throws his kicks almost disdainfully, almost like Nick Diaz style. And what he's doing with his kicks, in a lot of ways, is creating patterns to come in and blast you with punches.
True.
He throws all these kicks. Like, if you watch him fight Seaver, he's throwing kicks with, like, minimal effort. Like, he's throwing them, he's smacking you with these kicks, but when he lands those punches, ding!
It's coming.
These punches have some serious pop. He's
It
got
is Seaver,
beautiful.
though.
What's that?
It is Seaver that he's doing that on.
It's true, but it's also Dustin Poirier. He's throwing the same kicks. He threw a front leg hook kick. That was his first kick against Dustin Poirier.
Yeah.
He's a wild man. But the point is, super confident, really believes his bullshit. All this stuff that he's saying, we're not here to take part, we're here to take over.
I love it. I love
he's
it.
Braveheart.
I love
this
it.
motherfucker.
Yes.
He's Mel Gibson.
Has he
he's on a
been-
horse.
has he been
I
as
want him to
vocal?
win. I think for the UFC, he would be, if he wins this next fight, he's the biggest star we've ever had.
Has he been-
I think he's bigger than Brock if he wins this fight.
Because of my position, because of what I do, and I had a conversation with this guy last night. Who you picking? Who you picking? I don't pick anybody. I'm going to tell you the
I'm
truth.
not asking you to pick, Joe.
But let me
I'm
tell
not
you the
saying
truth.
pick.
There's two times, maybe ever, 3 times ever, where I was hoping somebody won. That's the 3 times that you fought.
Yeah,
the
thanks,
fights
brother.
that I call. It's
Thanks,
true. I don't like admitting that, but like
Yeah.
the Mitrione fight, I was like, shoo.
Yeah.
You know, the Arlovsky fight, I'm like, I thought you got it. And then, you know, I think it's really hard. It's real hard when your friends fight.
Yeah.
Real hard.
Yeah.
I'm friendly, and I'm friends with a lot of those. Not as close as I am with you,
Yeah.
but I'm friends with a lot of guys that fight. I put that shit aside. I put that shit aside, and
have to.
I go into those fights like an empty, objective person. I try to, because I've done it before where I thought one guy would win, and then I think maybe it like flavored my commentary, and then I took criticism for it, and then I would listen to that criticism, and I would go, I think they got some good points, you know. And so I adjusted my own approach to watching fights. So now when I watch fights with I'm empty. You know, I have styles that I really like, but then I like when people beat those styles.
I agree.
Like, Anderson's my favorite style of all time.
Right.
Watching Anderson Silva light guys up, I mean, come on, man.
incredible.
The Chris Lieben fight, or the Stephan Bonner fight.
There's only one guy in the UFC that I watch right now, and I'm excited to watch. I gotta be honest, and that's
Who?
Conor.
That's it?
That's it.
Come on, man.
I'm saying for me, as far as like,
How about Yair Rodriguez, that badass motherfucker from Mexico that fought in the last UFC?
He's a badass,
Jesus
but Conor,
Christ.
I'm like excited. I'm like, I've never seen shit like this. The way he moves, the way he talks, I'm like, I haven't seen this.
Oh, see,
I love watching him.
I think he's amazing. But I'm high on a lot of guys right now.
Right.
You know that Amir, what was Amir Khani? What the fuck's his name? How the fuck do you say?
What
his
do
name?
you think of Wonderboy Thompson? He moves differently.
He's a bad motherfucker.
Yeah.
He's a bad motherfucker.
It's a tough fight for
serious striker.
yeah, he's tough to deal with.
Yeah, he's a serious striker.
I guess just as far as the Conor thing goes, when they said it was going to be Chad Mendes, I was on set of UFC tonight. The rumor was it's supposed to be Diaz.
Nick or Nate?
Nate.
What?
Where
was that rumor?
catchweight. That was the rumor on set.
Well, that's a good sales pitch.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
Both have good hands.
It's
boxers.
a good matchup. I can see Conor winning that. When I heard-
Mattman Amir Connor is the
He's
name
a
I was trying
beast.
to.
He's a
a
little
bad
beast.
motherfucker.
Yes,
bad
fuck yes.
motherfucker.
But what? So do you
He's
think?
another 145, or 145 is deep.
Do you think
Super
that Jose Aldo, even though he's been a
call
champion,
him
and he's
Jose.
amazing? Do you think Jose Aldo in some ways is actually an easier fight for Conor than is Chad Mendes?
No, hell no. Anyone who says that's crazy.
Nobody's easy.
Yeah, obviously.
Jose Aldo is never easy.
But I'm just saying
He's a
Jose Aldo
monster.
I thought
is not-
Jose was going to win that fight.
But Jose Aldo's
Could've
not
won
a
it.
pressure wrestler the way Chad Mendes is going to take you down and put you on
This is
your
what's
back.
scary about Aldo. First of all, his leg kicks are as good as anybody that's ever lived.
Yeah.
His fucking leg kicks are lightning fast. And when he lands them, you only have a couple of those you can take. because you're diminished. You're diminished with the first kick. I'm telling you, man. I've seen guys kick live. Aldo has a different kind of kick. It's so fast.
I also think Jose's. I think he's faster than Connor. I think people are surprised. Will be surprised. I think he's actually faster.
He's very,
faster than
very
Connor,
fast.
yeah.
He's very, very fast.
I've never really seen Connor as being fast. I just see him as being accurate.
His hands are
accurate.
fast.
He's accurate.
He's very fast.
He's fast,
Connor's
especially for how
very
big
fast
he
hands.
is for 145.
He also has great penetration on his punches.
Yes.
When he throws that left hand, he
Reaches.
boom.
Yeah.
He's going through.
Did you see?
you.
He wanted to bet Dana White
$3 million that he knocks out Chad in the second round.
What?
Yeah.
He's that confident?
Yeah. Yeah.
See, this is what that was my next question.
Yeah, but
Has he
then
been
if Chad
very vocal?
Mendes gets into the third round and he knocks Chad Mendes out in the third round, he loses $3 million.
down $3 million.
He'd be
Wow.
so
All your
depressed,
purse, son.
He'd be so depressed when that
Yeah.
fucking
Right.
bell rings.
But goddamn, man.
Yeah.
I didn't know. So he's been very vocal now, the same way with Chad Mendes.
Of course, you
basically.
can't. Oh, there's
I
no
haven't heard much.
backtracking.
Chad Mendes has been laughing at him, though.
Yeah.
Listen, Chad Mendes is a demon. He's a motherfucker. You ever see Chad Mendes jump out of a fucking pool? First of all, Chad Mendes is only 5'6".
He's a super
He
athlete.
gets to the 3-foot side of the pool, jumps out of the pool, lands on the edge, and then does a backflip into the
That's so
pool.
sick to me. That's
There's
so
a video.
fucking
of it.
crazy.
Watch this video.
Chad
Watch this
Mendes
video.
is an animal.
That's
He's an animal.
Because I've seen BJ Penn do that.
Yeah, but not flip afterwards.
Yeah, not like Chad.
Chad Mendes is a legit super athlete.
That's freaky.
But here's something. Watch this shit. Watch this shit. Because this is
Come on.
fucking ridiculous. Watch him standing
Look
there.
how
Watch
thick
this.
he is.
Yeah, watch. He's standing there by the 3-foot side. He jumps out of the pool, boom, and then does a backflip right into it. He's a monster, dude.
Yeah.
He's
Super
a
monster.
serious athlete.
His second fight with Jose Aldo, if I could make one fight and put it to the future, like lock it up, like watch this. This is what the UFC is. It'd be his second fight with Jose Aldo. The technique, the back and forth, the 5 rounds. It's one of the best fights in UFC history.
It was a great fight. It was
Incredible.
Phenomenal fight, man.
It was to the wire with
It
the
is
best.
so incredible.
And
To
you're
the
talking
wire
about
with the best.
2 elite fighters,
And
both
against
in their prime.
a guy in
Sick.
Aldo who you got to think is at least top 2 or 3 pound for pound. I think the number 1 guy in the world is Mighty Mouse. I've said this for a long
Like just
time.
as a
He's the best. He's the best.
I can see that.
He's the best.
I see that. I see that argument. I just don't.
He's so
I think
good.
I think I have Jose Aldo over him. I have Mighty Mouse 2. I have Jose 1.
I don't, because Mighty Mouse never slows down. He's as good in
Well,
the
he's
5th
100
round.
fucking
That's
25
true.
pounds.
Aldo's
Pound for
only
pound.
20 pounds heavier than him.
For pound, yeah.
But Aldo's a
only
big cut,
145.
bro.
So
Aldo's
what?
a big cut.
You don't think it's a big cut to
I
make
think Aldo's
125?
fighting tough for competition.
He already is, but you know what? He makes it tougher too, because he's got a different style.
I agree.
I saw Mighty Mouse walking in the Seattle airport, and it was just there I was, and I kind of nodded at him and nodded. And he kept walking, and nobody even noticed him. And I thought to myself, that right there is, if he was a heavyweight, he would be just mobbed. That's one of the baddest people on the planet at his weight.
I heard a story he couldn't
Kinda
get into a
walking around.
club.
I believe
And
it.
DC was like, bro, this is the world champion of the UFC, man. The bouncer was like, okay, go ahead. They weren't going to let him into the
Yeah.
club.
You don't get any
They
love.
didn't know
You don't
who he
get
was.
love. You don't get
No.
love when you're 125.
Bouncers need to fucking pay attention to the lower weight classes.
Get that ass whooped. Get that ass whooped by Mighty Mouse.
He'll spin around.
I guarantee
behind you.
130,
fucking
135 is hard for him. I guarantee, because he's thick. He's a little
25.
thick. 125, right? He's thick.
Yeah. He's not a big guy.
No, he's
but
tiny.
he's a fucking.
He's the best.
He's an elite fighter. The way he moves, in my opinion, is like if I wanted a young fighter, I said you want to watch somebody, you want to learn what they do, watch this guy. He
you have
never
to have
gets
that
hit.
body type, bro. You know what I'm saying? With his style,
Maybe.
like my fat ass when I was young, you show me Mighty Mouse, I'm like, yeah, no, I just can't do that.
well, you're carrying around
I'm just
250
fucking-
Well,
pounds.
boxing's
I
that
got
way.
the weight.
Boxing's that way.
bigger
You know,
bones.
and you can't fight the way Floyd Mayweather or Roy Jones Jr. fights without having a lot of that ability, just
I got
insane speed.
two words for you: Muhammad Ali.
True.
Yeah.
He moves
Muhammad
like them.
Ali, when
He's
he was
elusive.
in his
But
prime,
he had that kind of body.
But when he was in his prime, he was 220 pounds.
He did not have that body.
What,
He was
what I'm saying is
moving
that
like
his physicality, he's such an athlete. He was the way
He's
he was.
big.
When you watch him as Cassius Clay, he moved like a little man. He was so fast and smooth, and that's really hard for. That's a very rare example of a huge guy who moved like a small guy. You have to be physically.
I was wearing a
gifted.
Lucha Fight. It said Cassius Clay shirt.
I got one of those.
Yeah, I was
Love
wearing,
that.
yeah, love it.
Yeah.
Right? It's the white
Me
one.
too.
Says
It's
like,
half my wardrobe is
me
Roots
too.
of Fight,
me
by the
too.
way. This
Sometimes
might
I feel
even
like
be
an
a Roots.
asshole.
I don't think this is, but it
wearing
might
fight
be.
shirts all the time. But I'm at line at a Starbucks. This old white dude comes up to me and goes, "Hey man, that shirt's offensive." I went, "What?" He goes, "That shirt's offensive." I went, I forgot what I was wearing. I looked down, I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? And he goes, that was his slave name. I was like, okay, cool, man. Have a good day. He's like, that shirt's I wouldn't wear that, man. I was like, Bro, beat it, nerd. I didn't make the fucking shirt. I'm some Muhammad Ali fan. It's old school.
It's historical.
Yeah,
what that
get
shirt
outta here,
represents.
man.
It's got Fifth Street Gym in Miami on the patch as
And
well.
he only changed his name when he converted to Islam anyway.
Well, not only that, he is getting proceeds from that shirt. Like, he
Yeah.
authorized the sale of that shirt.
Yes.
What that shirt
Of course he
represents
did.
is who he was when he fought in the Olympics.
Yeah. How
That's
about
what
I
the shirt's
piss in your
about.
coffee? How about I piss in
Shirt's
that dark
offensive.
roast?
Yeah, he won a gold medal, which he
dummy.
threw into the St. Louis River, I believe.
Goddamn white people.
Yeah,
Had to be a
fucking
white
white
guy,
people,
right?
man. Fucking white people. Fucking white people.
I've been working on this bit about how I secretly root for black people. Like, if I see a black homeless guy versus a white homeless guy, I'm always like, you know what, man? You're probably accused of a crime you didn't commit. Here you go. When I see a white guy, I'm like, wash your face and wear some glasses.
Well, let's keep working.
Might want
on
to
it.
work on that bit.
Yeah. Anyways,
Fuck off, you guys.
Hey.
That's not the bit, you assholes. I'm just saying.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
whatever.
Hey,
That bit's
speaking of shitty
tainted
things,
from now on.
Speaking of shitty things, how about Travis Brown?
Oh, boy.
Hold.
Yeah,
Hold.
man. I was
Hold.
just looking at
Awkward. UFC said.
is that out?
UFC at Fight Week said, "Hey, listen, we can't have you signing and hitting bitches, so we're gonna have you sit this one out, okay?"
that. So what is going on with him?
His former fiance or wife, former fiance, right? Instagram. Just a bully beat down, black eye, horrible bruises.
Her knee, her leg.
Everything said, I'm sick of this. I can't believe I stuck through it through this long. Physical abuse, domestic abuse is nothing to, not a laughing matter or whatever. Post an Instagram picture, and it's horrible. If you guys haven't seen it, it's horrible.
It's interesting. It's not on the underground. Like, it's not on the front page where all the news is. They're trying to keep it classy.
the UFC freaking yanked him from this fight week
They
stuff. Oh yeah, they
Well,
just did
how
it
about
this
Brittany
morning.
Palmer? Brittany Palmer's fucking husband gets to go. He get
For
$1
attempted
million
murder.
bond.
Attempted murder.
He tried to choke her. First of all, his jiu-jitsu is so weak. Because
Right?
if I'm really attempting to choke her,
Well,
she's
that's what I
dead.
mean. That's what I said.
I'll tell you what.
If it's real attempted murder.
That's what I said.
How is she alive?
That's what I'm saying.
How's she gonna have a choke? Is she Kimbo
the
with
gym,
Ken
bro.
Shamrock? What's going on here?
Hey, easy.
Sorry, guys.
I'll tell you
Sorry.
what though, with,
Just-
with Travis Brown, when I saw that, when I saw his girl all beat up, I was like, I feel you, man. He whipped my ass. I feel, girl, go for a takedown. Go for a takedown. Go for a jiu-jitsu.
I mean, how
he
mad?
slapped the shit out of me too. I feel you. He slapped the piss out of me. So I feel like reaching out to her, being like, "You want to talk about it?" I'm not just being like, "Girl, I feel you." He beat the shit out of me. At least in front of millions of people.
Yeah, you were alone.
At least
you
you
didn't
got
even know
paid.
who to
I was in
fucking
my
commiserate
underwear. He beat
with.
the fuck out of me. I don't even fight anymore. You want to talk about it?
Do you think? I mean, when you see a girl like Brittany, she's a nice kid, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand it. I just don't
She
understand.
is smoking to
She's
me.
smoking. Apparently, he forced her into getting a bunch of plastic surgeries too. That's what she's also saying. It was like the reason why she had all that work done was.
Oh,
him.
really? The rich kid who was handed money and moved to L.A. You know, like,
Was he handed money?
It
Did
doesn't
he-
work
did he
out.
earn
That's
his
what
money?
I've heard. That's what I've heard.
I don't know where he earned his
Yeah,
money.
me
I always
neither.
got along with the guy. I mean,
He was always cool. He's always cool to me.
I
It doesn't
enjoyed talking to
surprise
him
me.
when he was with her. I mean, I hate saying it now because I allegedly know what he did. So and I hate him. Fundamentally,
That's
on
one thing I don't
principles.
play with, man.
I like her, man. She's
too.
cool.
I really like her.
Every time I talk to her, she's sassy. She's always fun. We're always
Dude,
joking around.
she's one of the rare girls in the octagon where she has a talent and it's painting. If you've seen
She's very
Brittany's
talented.
paintings,
Yeah.
they're dope, man.
Yeah. She's a
I
good
thought about
artist.
reaching out and having her paint some shit of Big Brown, putting it up my house.
Oh, she'd be
Yeah.
happy to do
Yeah,
that.
she's super legit.
She's always been like a down to earth.
She's
person.
fun.
Like, I've
I
always
like
liked
hanging
her.
out with her. She's come to some of my shows.
Yeah, I love looking at her
know.
Instagram late at night.
They're
No, I
good
hate
kids,
it.
man.
Oh, sorry.
What?
Sorry.
What the fuck?
Wait, what?
Hey,
She's
that's not what I'm
married.
saying.
She's married.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
No.
So
Everyone's slipping
That's
on
there's
her.
no better
Are they
way.
officially divorced?
Dude,
or-
he's out on $1 million bail. $1 million.
It
That's
is
some
weird.
Suge Knight shit.
But hear me out.
No, shook. Yeah, I mean,
Hear me out on this. Hear me out.
Oh,
as
here
a-
we go.
as a-
The
as
white
a-
knight. Go ahead. Now, go ahead.
Hey guys,
Hear me out, man.
Guys,
She could have
hear me
been.
out.
guys.
It was attempted. No, but
I'm getting jiu-jitsu
But-
lessons at 4, so hurry this up.
But since we don't really know the details, when I hear
Dude,
that
you're
it was
that guy.
attempted murder
This is the problem.
and he had choked her, like there is the question of she got out, like she got away. What are the circumstances? Like for me, I'm always guarded about this. I want to hear more about the
I
case
don't.
before I condemn
No.
the guy.
I don't.
I
You know
don't-
what I do?
I
I go, oh, you put your hands on her? Done.
Yeah, it's done.
There's-
And
what do you mean you want
here's-
the fucking details?
Here's
You don't
here's
know
the
what
only
happened. You
time.
weren't
Here's,
there.
Hey, Bobby
listen,
Brown. Hey,
Listen,
Bobby
you don't know
Brown.
what happened. Listen, you're a fucking man, okay? here's the only time it's okay to hit a woman when she's trying to kill you. She's got a knife and she's trying to kill you.
Okay.
And you're saving your life and you hit her.
What if that's what was happening? We don't
You
know.
would have heard
right?
that. You would have heard that. It would have come out. He would have said that. He hasn't said anything like that. There's no evidence at all.
Maybe that's because his lawyers are telling him not to.
I don't
come out
buy
at
it.
trial.
If he got
She's
arrested
not
on
a
$1
killer.
million bond,
Brittany Palmer's not trying to stab anybody. I
don't-
might be wrong. You're right.
I
You're
mean,
right. I don't know.
I'm just saying
You're
we're
right.
talking
You're
now.
dead
We don't
right.
know
no,
yet.
fuck that. Fuck that.
You're
Fuck
right.
that
I don't
dude.
know. You're
We don't
right.
know
I
yet.
don't know.
Yeah.
But
It does not matter.
That's the only possibility.
Right.
Is that she's coming at him with a knife.
Sure.
Or a gun.
It's
and she's trying to kill him.
It's like Chris Brown and Rihanna. They're like, yeah, well, Rihanna did some shit. I don't give a fuck. I don't care
Listen,
what she did.
if a
You
girl-
can't do that.
If a girl I love punches me in the face, I'm going to be very upset. I'm not punching her back.
Right.
No,
I'll
I'm going to
get
give her a
mad.
sharp
punched
liver.
her in the
I'm going to hit her
I might
right in the
hold her
liver.
arm.
Right in the liver. I'm going to take some heat for this. I'm just kidding, though. I would never touch
I would
her.
For me-
headbutt her solar plexus. I'd grab her ass.
Yeah, I would never hit her.
Dude,
I would put her in the tightest anaconda choke you've ever seen.
Yeah.
No, never.
Well,
I've never choked anybody, but I did take my wife's back once, and I put the body triangle on her just to let her know what's up.
Obviously
There you go.
naked,
There you
right?
go.
It's
Yeah.
fun.
Put
I
that
had-
body
I
triangle
had
on
a-
him. Just let him
I had
know.
a girl.
This is death. Feel this.
Feel this.
You don't get away from this. This is
Ever.
death.
Ever.
I had a girlfriend who would get
Ever.
drunk and get jealous and hit me.
Oh.
She tried to take my head off with a boot.
Did you marry her?
Nope.
Get close?
I don't want to talk about it. But my buddy, we were at a party, and it was all great. And she was the kind of person that would get drunk, and you wouldn't know it. And my buddy was there, and he said he saw the whole thing. And this is where hear me out, because she thought I was looking at a friend who was there at my party, a girl, and she just attacked me physically. And I countered by getting her in underhooks or something, and I kind of hip tossed her away from me, and we both crashed through a window.
Oh, my
crashed through
God.
through not a window, but adjoining doors. You know those French doors.
Yeah.
And my buddy
Broken
saw the
glass?
whole fucking thing.
Glass?
Yes.
So glass everywhere?
Yes, glass everywhere, and the door broke.
That's assault, brother.
God.
Well, hold on. My buddy saw the whole thing from its inception. He saw her attack me. Somebody else saw only me hip tossing her through the kind of not really hip toss, but getting her away from me, and he saw me hip toss her through the glass.
Yeah.
If that person had saw that, it looked like I was throwing her through fucking doors.
I get
Guess
it, man.
What? I wasn't.
Here's the
and
problem.
my buddy came to my defense and said, "Just so you know, I saw the whole fucking thing. I saw her jump on you and attack you,
Yeah.
and you were trying to get her away
Self-defense.
and calm her down." And then I brought her. I brought her because there was a party into my garage, held her down, and said, "Calm down." And I was holding her physically down, so she couldn't move, and she was screaming.
Well, that's kidnapping.
Well, you can say a lot of things.
Just saying, if I'm a cop, I'm like, yeah, that's kidnapping.
That's what I mean.
That's assault.
Yeah.
That's what
it
I
is.
mean.
It is.
I could have been
Yeah.
arrested for assault when what I
Definitely
was
should have been
doing was
arrested.
doing one. I was trying to protect myself by holding her down. I was trying not to
Run,
create an
man.
embarrassing situation, and I was trying to sort of extinguish the problem.
Here's one for you. What do you do
What
if
do
you're
you
the
do
UFC?
What's that?
What do you do if you're the UFC? They obviously suspend him for UFC fight week. Makes sense.
Well, we're not talking about Brittany anymore. We're talking
no,
about
no, we're
Travis
talking about
now.
Travis Brown.
We're just talking about also sometimes, as we all know, you can get in a situation where, like just that example, I could have been, if somebody had seen a segment of that,
Yeah,
I
for
could have
sure,
been in
let's
big
get over
fucking
your
trouble.
situation.
Okay,
though,
well,
you know?
here, let's talk about reality, okay? If he did beat her, okay, if he did and he did more than once,
Yeah.
you got to cut him.
Of course.
Right? You got to cut him.
Yes.
And that's what they did with Rumble Johnson. And then they found out with Rumble Johnson was a lot of bullshit. It was his baby mama.
Yeah,
and There
yeah.
was a lot of nonsense and it wasn't
Right.
real.
She didn't have these pictures.
There's
though.
exactly, but there's also women that will pretend. Now, I have a friend, and he was breaking up with his girlfriend, and she said, and he recorded it, and she started saying things like, you know, I'm going to tell the police you hit me. I'm going to throw myself down a flight of stairs. All this kind of crazy shit.
I had it done to me.
It happens.
Yes,
it
I
does
had.
happen.
She opened
It
the
does-
windows and said, "Stop hitting me!" Started screaming,
You know
"Stop
what,
hitting
though?
me!"
I think that's the exception. I gotta be honest.
I don't know about that.
we don't know.
It may be the exception.
Hey,
but listen.
Billy Girl Hitter, how about you back off?
No, but bro,
Girl.
but seriously, there are people that are deceptive. There are
Yes.
people
We've
that
all seen Gone
manipulate.
Girl, yeah.
Yes.
But it's possible. It's possible.
agree.
It might not. Whether it's the exception or not, it's not the point. Like, is it possible? Yes. Does it happen? Yes. So
All the
that could
time.
be what
I
you're
had
seeing.
a friend who was accused of rape. rape,
Right.
but he kept all the text messages.
Yeah.
And showed the prosecutor.
Well, how
and
about
got
this
off.
fucking guy in Virginia? The guy with the girls walking around with a mattress on her back. He's got text messages from her asking him to come over and fuck her in
There
the
you go.
butt.
Yeah, that's
I mean, she's
that's tough.
Yeah, I mean,
that's tough.
it's just-
That's why we have courts, and that's why we have due process, and that's why in this country you're innocent until proven guilty. It's called habeas corpus.
I'll tell you who's
but
upset.
no, but we're not. You're guilty
You're
in the court
guilty.
of public opinion.
That's what I mean. And that's
Travis is guilty. You look at his Instagram; the comments are tough.
Yeah.
Tough.
Look, that might be
The
a-
public jumps on it right away.
Yeah, if he really did do that, he is guilty, right?
Sure.
We all agree.
Yes,
Okay,
we
if he
agree.
really did beat her up, we all agree he's got to be cut,
Yes.
right?
You
Yes.
think UFC cuts him? Then he
think he
goes
goes
to
to
Bellator
jail.
and just dominates.
Listen, I think he goes to jail.
Yeah.
I mean, if he really did beat her up, he goes to jail.
You'd have to, right?
It's assault.
Right.
It's assault, brother.
Especially
You'd
with
have
a
to.
really pretty. She's beautiful.
She is smoking
and she has
hot.
legit bruises. I mean,
And
that
he
looks-
is.
they're hard.
And he is huge.
He's a giant.
He's so big.
He's a giant man.
I remember
Yeah.
when he
Yeah.
came in the octagon, I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
I can imagine her. He jumped
Yeah.
in, I was like, holy fuck, bro.
Yeah.
Are we the same weight class?
We obviously don't know what the fuck happened. We don't know. We have no idea. I mean, it could be another I'll throw myself down the flight of stairs
I
thing.
always
It could be-
take the girl's side on this.
Well, it's the smart thing to take. I mean, she's the victim.
Yeah.
If it is, I mean, the worst thing you could do is question someone who's been victimized and go,
Right.
man, I don't know what really
That's
happened.
fucked up, man.
It's fucked up, right?
Yeah, and for the most part, I think that I have to believe, and it's just I don't know this person, I don't know Travis, I don't know the situation, but I do feel like, you know, when you post pictures like that to Instagram, I feel like this is definitely not the first time he's been hitting her, and she's finally had enough and decided this is
That's
the
what
only
she
way.
said.
Yeah.
yeah, this is the only way I can
She
protect
said she was
myself.
embarrassed that she waited so long.
There you go.
Yeah, man.
And with a
There you
girl
go.
like that, I mean, this is the only time in human history where someone's been able to do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, take a photo, put that photo on your Instagram, and
That's the
instantly.
power of Instagram.
There are
That's
a
what's
lot
so
of
cool
countries-
about Instagram.
There are a lot of countries
Yeah.
right now in this world where you, as a wife, if you're getting the shit beat out of you, there are no laws that protect you.
Travis needs to move there.
Yeah.
It's a good spot for him.
if that's his thing, take your ass there.
Yeah, I don't. You know,
That's tough, man.
It makes me when I hear like this Aaron guy and Brittany. I like the guy. I mean, I talked to him. I enjoyed talking to him. Was he a perfect person? No, but
He's all right.
Obviously, I wasn't in a relationship with him, and
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck happened between.
We
those
don't know.
two.
We don't know. And
All I need to hear is, okay,
You beat her.
you beat her, you choked her. Cool,
Yeah.
not my friend. Don't talk
Yeah.
to me when we see each
If
other.
that's really what happened, it's
Brittany,
yeah.
call me. I mean, it's
And-
very simple. It's very cut and dry. Brittany, I am available. Number 720. No, I'm just saying.
Yeah, yeah. It's
There's
one
the
of
ulterior motive, you
Yeah,
son
no,
of a bitch.
I'm just saying, if you need a place to stay, I live in Marina Del Rey. No, but it's not like that, man.
It's fucked that people get to that place. It's fucked that people that used to be in love, they were in love enough to get married.
I know.
They had a big crazy wedding. They held
Listen,
hands.
we
and-
know one thing. It's a fine line between love and hate, man. If there's one thing, they always say, like, the most dangerous place for a woman sometimes, or even a man, is the bedroom. Shit flares, fucking
Yeah, well,
tempers,
that's why they say
insanity happens.
cops fucking hate going to domestic violence.
Yes.
cases.
Someone always has to be
Yes.
arrested. If a domestic violence is called, they have to arrest someone
Yeah.
every time.
Smart.
Yeah.
Just to
Super
cool
smart.
everybody off.
Cool someone down.
Yeah.
And
And
also,
they said the worst case if it's two gay guys. Because gay guys, you gotta think about it. Gay dudes fight like dudes. Ain't no one getting choked.
How about this?
It's a scrap. How about this? Scrap for that dick. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if this is true.
Think about it, bro.
That's true.
And I
That's
don't know if
true.
this is true, but I heard from a cop who did a detective who said, well, you get a lot of face stabbings in the gay community. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, when lovers fight, man, you can usually tell that somebody knew the other person and was physical with them, like in love with them and physically, sexually physical, if their faces they have 15 fucking stab
That's
wounds in their
weird. Like
faces.
a great
my
white shark.
That's very typical of somebody who hates, like, I loved you and now I fucking hate you and I'm going to stab your face.
Try and ruin that face. I'd try and ruin that dick if I was gay.
Oh,
That-
Jesus.
that too.
No, because you
That
might want to
too.
go back to the dick. Guys like a little scar.
Nah, I get that booty hole.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Hey, man.
Knife
Hey,
to
bro.
the
I'm
booty
just
hole.
saying. You're going to stab the booty hole? Come on,
You
bro.
stab someone in the booty hole, you could get that toxic in the blood.
Yeah.
They could die.
That would
Evil,
hurt.
evil, son.
And, you might have to wear a colostomy bag or something while it's
Stabbing
being
anywhere, let's
stitched
be
up.
honest, stabbing anywhere
Yeah.
sucks a dick.
Could it be?
Stabbing's
I'd rather
not
get
good.
shot
You
sometimes.
gotta
If you had to be
fucking
stabbed
hate
somewhere,
somebody.
where would it be? One place. You have to choose
Go
one.
and, go and stab me in this juicy
5
ass
seconds.
quad, son. I don't give a fuck.
You could
I don't
die.
give a fuck.
Big fucking arteries here.
Femoral artery?
Yeah.
Nah, I'll take my chances.
I don't know where to get fucking.
If you think about it, the quad.
Forearm. Go forearm.
What?
Stab my
The
forearm.
use of your hand might get fucking severed nerve.
Well, then where do I
Yeah.
go?
Kimbo
God, he
Slice
might
told
have a good
Kimbo
point.
Slice told me if you ever get in a knife fight, you you let him cut outside
So
here.
Kimbo
and
knows.
Kimbo
Oh,
had
okay.
all these fucking
Cuts all over.
cuts.
All right.
Like this, son.
Then
Just
fuck it.
fucking-
That's what
Hey,
I do.
let's talk about this for a minute. How crazy is it that we talk about fights like, we're just a bunch of dudes sitting around talking, then it becomes news stories.
Oh, I
This is
know.
the MMA media is so bizarre. Like,
Yeah.
we talked shit about that Ken Shamrock Kimbo fight.
Yeah.
That became a giant fucking news story.
Did
in
it?
You
MMA.
hurt Ken
Yeah.
Shamrock's feelings. He
I
was like,
did.
Joe Rogan shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
I
You
didn't know
shouldn't
that.
do that.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, you're a powerful dude, my man. You know what I've learned on podcasting too is, I joke around, I make stuff funny.
Exactly.
But then, boom, it's a headline. I'm like, shit, I better watch what I say a little bit.
when you joke around, also, there's a difference between listen to you talk in context of a full conversation where there's a lot of shit talking
Yeah,
and laughing,
man, but they
or
take
taking
that.
it and printing it.
Yes.
When it's two-dimensional, it's on paper. Like,
Well, like Fox did an article where Brian asked me on one of our podcasts, he goes, how do you think Connor's feeling right now? I went, I'm sure he's terrified. The anxiety of fighting.
Mm-hmm.
They change your opponent 12 days. It's a completely different style. You're fighting a wrestler. There's some nerves there, man. I bet he's terrified.
Yeah.
Not that he's not going to win or he doesn't believe in himself. Just naturally, everyone's terrified to fight, man. What's the article say? Brent Schaub thinks Connor's terrified.
Of course,
And
of
then his
course.
fans fucking just reach out to me like they want to fucking Travis Brown me. Yeah, just fucking intense.
Yeah.
Like fucking Brittany Palmer. And it's like brutal, man.
Yeah.
So then it's almost like now I don't censor myself, but
You can see how people get careful. You can see how people get very sort of antiseptic and very sort
It's
of
weird to me.
sanitized.
well,
right?
what was weird was what articles were being written while the podcast was going on. So people were sitting in front of their computer
like
with their
say
fingers
something,
ready.
Joe Rogan.
And as soon as we were talking about the Cam Shamrock fight, it was in podcast in articles rather.
Did anybody reach out to you about that, Ken or anybody? About
No. Look. I love Ken Shamrock. I'm a huge Ken
We all
Shamrock
do.
fan, and that's one of the reasons why I was suspicious about him not being able to finish that rear naked choke. Underneath the neck on anybody,
Yes.
with a fresh Ken Shamrock.
Yes.
But I guess, you have a good point that he's 51, and, look, Kimbo's not a joke, but his ground game's always been the weakest part of his game.
Yeah.
There's a lot of issues with that fight that a lot of people had, but the big issue was there were fights in Ken's past that were absolutely worked. Jack Slack did a piece on it.
Yeah, the history of it.
Yeah.
So
Jack
you're not
Slack-
breaking any news.
I'm not breaking any
No.
news. Jack Slack was one of the best writers in MMA today. He's fucking fantastic at breaking down fights. He did, I think it was called The Anatomy of a Fixed Fight, and he showed fights from Pancrase that you watch them and you go, oh, okay, that's worked.
Yeah.
Funaki fight.
I don't know.
Matt Hume
Well, how
fight.
cool of
He
an
had him in the
article would
heart.
it be? Joe Rogan, huge Ken Shamrock supporter. They're not going to
Yeah.
write that.
Maybe they would, but
They
look,
just sit there
he's-
and wait for
he-
something. Schaub talk shit about Reebok.
It's just
He was
it
a
was that
fucking
was a
pioneer.
position. That position that he had him in is maybe the hardest thing to get out of on the planet. When you got his back underneath
no.
like that on top of him. I'm
If
just
you
saying.
got good jiu-jitsu, no. Like there's a lot of guys you get their back. Like John Fitch was notorious for like you could get his back and choke him, and he figured out a way out of it.
True.
Remember with Eric Silva? Eric
Yeah.
Silva had a deep choke on
Deep.
him, and he's like, whatever.
Yeah,
High
high level guys, but let's
high level.
let's not get it twisted.
Yeah.
Kimbo Slice isn't winning any
Exactly.
jiu-jitsu competition,
Yeah.
so I agree it's a little suspect.
It's a little suspect.
Yeah.
But it's just I think that Ken he's in an unfavorable position. First of all, he's a real legend of MMA. He's one of the guys that started it all off. If it wasn't for Ken Shamrock and his fights, like Ken Shamrock was huge back in the day.
Huge.
When
Before all his
UFC
crazy, right?
1,
Even in
UFC 2,
Japan, right before
in
that.
Pancrase,
He
yeah,
makes the
was.
Mount Rushmore of MMA for
Yeah,
sure.
he's in there 100%. So, and also he created the Lions Den.
Yeah,
helped
man.
guys like Pete Williams
Bill
came out of
Baroni.
there. Yeah, there was a lot of great fighters that came out of there, and that whole Tony Galindo, there was a whole
Yeah.
like group of guys that came up in that era. That wound up being like really big fighters, and a lot of it was under his tutelage. It's just the game's very different now. Fights are very different.
Right.
You're dealing with the John Joneses of the world now. You're dealing with the Yair Rodriguezes. The game is moved. It's a different thing. And, Ken is not financially secure. He's not a multi-millionaire like he should be.
Right.
If he was...
As a pioneer, yeah.
Yeah, if he was a pioneer in any other sport, if he was a pioneer as a NASCAR driver, if he's a pioneer in basketball or anything like he would
He's
be set for life, living in a mansion, drinking martinis by the pool, on NBC Wild World of Sports, talking about fights that are upcoming and treated with the respect that he deserves.
Yeah.
But he's in this unfavorable position where he's got to fight at 51 years old. And one thing that I like that he said is, I've earned the right to fight for fun. And if that's what he's doing, if that's what he wants to do,
100%.
I'm 100% down with that.
I agree.
Yeah.
Look at a guy like Mark Coleman too, man. He's not doing another pioneer.
Exactly. He's all fucked up. He's
super
got
fucked
a second hip surgery coming up. And again, massive Mark Coleman fan. I love him
Mark
as a human
Coleman.
being
Fuck
too.
yes, both
I
those
love Mark
guys,
Coleman.
legends, man.
Yeah, legends.
Oh, hey, Schaub, quit doing what you're doing, making a lot of money, and go be like those guys, though.
Yeah, it's too hard, man.
Nah.
Well, you're a different guy because you're funny and you got a fun personality, and you translate it perfectly into podcasting. And you're lucky you know Bryan Callen. But without those
And
things,
Joe Rogan.
yeah, without those things, it's like it's hard for these dudes. Like a guy like Brian Stan, I think has a real future in podcasting because he's brilliant. He's very articulate. He's very smart. Like Brian Stan is a smart, sharp motherfucker.
Really sharp
Yeah.
dude.
Sharp.
He shames me with his I don't know,
Jawline.
just his character.
He could be president.
I know.
I'd vote for him.
I
in a
would too.
heartbeat.
I'd vote for him in a heartbeat.
I would vote
Heartbeat.
to him till he was like, hey, a lot of fighters I know love the Reebok deal. When I saw that, I was like, oh, you hurt my feelings, Stan. Oh, Stan. I thought we were boys. And then I'm like, whatever, I get over that, and I see Chael Sonnen. This Reebok deal is amazing.
Sonnen said that?
Sonnen said the same thing. Oh, no. They got to
Well,
you.
they made good-looking shirts.
They got to you.
The shirts are good looking.
Pause.
Perfect amount of pause. Perfect amount of pause.
Just very quiet. You just hear a dog in the distance. Oh, barking.
Well, Giblert Melendez.
Gilbert.
Giblert.
Giblert.
They spelled his
Giblert.
name learned. They spelled a bunch of people's names wrong. I mean, they
How do
didn't
you
even
do that?
fact
That's
check it.
crazy.
They don't care.
It's not their world. MMA is not their world.
It's not their world. They didn't care.
Wow.
Whoever
Reebok
did it
pumps
wasn't
are their
paying
world.
attention. Yeah, it's it's no big deal.
Nah,
you know
what can you do?
I think it sucks for the fighters that can't make as much money because I think that it's a hard road. I mean, to try to make a living
Hard enough
as a
as it
fighter.
is. Hard enough as it is. And now it just got way harder.
Yeah.
It just got way harder for a lot of guys.
What I hope is that there's another revenue stream that they haven't figured out. I hope that there's a shining
It's there, bro.
silver lining.
It's there. The silver lining is don't have Reebok and the UFC tell your story. And we've talked about this before on here, if I'm a guy like Chad Mendez, I'm having T-shirts print, and I'm saying, this is my official shirt, champion shirt. I get 100% of the proceeds.
Right.
Instead of buying this bullshit Reebok shirt for $95, which I have nothing to do with. It's horrible. Come on.
It's also expensive.
Yeah, go
Jesus.
to Chad, whatever he has, chadmendes.com, and buy this shirt. This is what supports me. This is a shirt that I created. Reebok, we have no creative authority.
Well, what I was thinking is like, you know how fighters like one of my favorite things to watch up to fights when I get really hyped up. So I watch all their videos that they're putting up of training footage and all this different shit. I'm like, if you had like organized shit, like if camps put together like some guys do, like McGregor's done some, and some guys like will have cameras follow them around in training, and those can get a lot of hits.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
fucking things can get a
And
lot
you
of
can
hits.
make money off that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but now think if you're wearing a shirt that you approve and you designed
Exactly.
and you're winning all those videos.
That's what I'm saying.
All
Like,
your fans are going to jump on
you
board.
have say you have a training video and it's all like Torque One, Uriah's company.
Yes.
Who make, in my opinion, the best fucking gloves. Between them and Hayabusa, Hayabusa has the best fucking tie pads.
Yeah.
Their fucking tie pads are so good. My trainer, Justin, his arms are so fucked up. I would make his arms go numb and his elbows. He would get these spikes up his elbows from just whack. Because he's holding regular tie pads.
Yeah.
Fucked his forearms up. But these Hayabusa ones, dude, full blast. Full roundhouse
problem.
kicks to him. He can take them because they're super thick. They're super thick and they're all this high-tech foam shit and they absorb the shot. I mean, you probably wouldn't want to hold pads for Pedro Hizzo, but he could take my kicks.
So have Hayabusa pay Chad Mendes to have those in his video.
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying. Like maybe there's a revenue stream that they haven't tapped into. Maybe there's like something like that
Make
where
your
fighters
own
can
shit.
figure out a way. Make your own shit is good too.
I like that idea.
I was on
But
set.
you have a major hit podcast. You guys, the fighter and the kid. Like I told you when I did Brian's for the taping
Stand-up.
of Brian's stand-up special,
Yeah.
and I came to that show and I was like, it was a sea of fighter and the kid
crazy.
shirts.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, how about we were in San Francisco and I said, any Fighter and Kid fans sold out every show. I went, oh my God, this is the boiling point. Now it's starting to happen.
I get that, and you can say, well, you have a podcast to sell shirts, but a guy like Conor McGregor, Ronda Rousey, you can have your own shit instead of having Reebok.
Yes. I
I
agree.
It just doesn't make sense to me. I was on set of is it UFC Now or UFC Night, and I was talking to a guy, I'm not going to say his name, and I go, bro, why would you have your fans pay $95 for this Reebok shirt? Do you like it? He goes, no. I said, and you retweeted it and Instagrammed it. That's weird to me. Just have someone. If your manager's not telling you this,
they're trying
fire
to
him.
play ball. They're trying to play ball. They're trying to be a good guy. They're trying to be a company person.
It's also the
you
only
know what,
option. They think they only have one option.
It's not, though,
So-
because if you want to play ball, you know what happens? At the end of the ball game, you're left with no money. Do your own revenue shit, man.
They think that if they play ball along the way, they'll get more bonuses. They'll be favored. They'll get better deals. The UFC does take care of people they like and people that work with them. They do give out bonuses. They do. There's a good deal to that.
Why depend on that? Why
That's
depend
true.
on that
It's
when
true.
you can create your own signature shirt, man?
Look at you smart motherfucker, businessman.
I told
Brendan
him.
Schaub.
I told him he should start teaching seminars to fighters about how to
You should.
optimize their ability to.
But again, what
generate
you
revenue.
have that they don't is you're funny. You know, if a guy's not funny, it's going to be real hard to push a podcast unless you're a real sharp guy like Stan.
Forget the podcast. What you just said was interesting. Like if you had cameras follow you around and they're capturing all the ins and outs of your training, and be honest, like show that like where you feel like shitty or you feel great, and all the relationships you're trying to deal with, and at the same time you've got product placement, which is just I use Hayabusa or I use this kind of stuff. You can make money that way.
You can make money, but it's a lot
you'd have to be
more
top tier,
But it's
though.
also a lot of stuff,
productions can be
extra stuff to
expensive.
think about.
Yeah.
It used to be you put that fucking what is it, fastener? What's it called? Dynamic fastener
fastener,
on your
whatever.
dick.
Yeah,
you
and
put
you're
that
good.
across your dick, and you're making $20,000. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like they had the shirts on. You
Okay,
wear,
But
now we got to do
camera.
a different route. Now you got to do a different route, man.
But I don't like that they have to do a different route, and you don't like it either.
I hate it. That's what drives me nuts.
Yeah.
And so, like, the UFC Expo, this is the first Expo I've ever missed. I've been at everyone. I love them, man. And the fans are like, oh, this is bullshit. Because I said, I don't work for free. I'm not doing a Fighter and a Kid podcast live for free. I'm not doing that.
They wanted you to do it for free.
Yeah, I'm not doing a signing for free. I'm just not going to do it, man.
But to do a podcast for free, you guys would still put ads on those podcasts,
not
right?
a live one. There's no ads at a live podcast at the UFC Expo.
Well, I don't understand. When you do your ads, do you do your ads? You read them live on the air?
Typically.
Okay, I used to do it like that, but then I got a
If-
man
but-
named Jamie Vernon in my life.
No, but if you do a live
Depends on-
podcast, I'm not doing. You know what I'm saying? It's a different scenario.
Right, but
it's a
you
live
put that
show.
up on iTunes and you put ads on
No,
it.
we don't. No, it wouldn't do. It would just be for that crowd.
You
That's how
wouldn't
we do
record it.
No, we didn't
We
last
could.
time.
What?
Yeah.
Why would you not record it and put it out?
I don't think we had the
We didn't have the-
Capabilities?
Yeah,
No,
we didn't have the
not at the
capabilities
time.
then.
No, listen, that
It
ain't
just
rocket
feels on a
scientist.
stage.
Again, you need a man like young Jamie in your life.
Yeah, it
That
was
ain't
also-
rocket
it was
science.
also
There's a
a different
soundboard.
time.
But listen, if there's a soundboard and the soundboard is broadcasting out to those people, it's got a fucking auxiliary plug.
Yeah.
You plug it in, you put an MP3 recorder. Am I right?
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Live from
and
Vegas.
then you make money off the ads from that podcast. It's not free. I would do a podcast. They asked me to do a podcast from the Fan Expo. I'd have done it, but they probably wouldn't want me to.
Look at us.
We've done it before. I like doing them.
We're gonna start doing live.
The point is we don't have to do that.
Right.
And we offer. Listen, you name an athlete that's been in the UFC who's been more open. I give you free shit 4-6 hours a week doing podcasts.
Right.
There's never been an athlete in the UFC more open than I have talking to fans. So missing the Fan Expos, it's not the end of the world.
Right. Well, you're already getting your own message out there on a regular
Correct.
basis, but your message is also independent. You're not a company man. You're
Not at
your
all.
own. You're a company man if the company's great, and you're a huge supporter of the UFC.
Huge supporter.
Huge
Love the
supporter.
UFC.
But you're honest. You know,
Yes.
like that's fucking. It's hard. That's hard to. That's important. It's
man.
important. It's hard to find. It's hard to find a guy with balls like that, but you also can do it because you make more money from podcasting
True.
than you do from fighting.
Correct.
I mean, that's just
Yeah. It's huge.
it's the way of the world, man. It's the way of the world.
Interesting.
It's this sport is still growing. You know,
Right.
there's still some stuff to be worked out.
And I don't have the answers.
I
None
don't
of us
either.
do.
I don't
And
either.
I'm not. Dana's not at fault. I'm sure I might run it the same fucking way. I'm not saying I would do anything different. I don't know what I do different.
Hard job he has. That's for
I'll
sure.
tell you right now, I definitely wouldn't do it this way. With regards to cutting the sponsors, I would avoid anything that costs the fighters money. But I think they think that long term it's going to make the fighters money, and maybe they're right.
But for a
You
guy
know?
like me, or a guy who Mitrione, or a guy like Ben
Mm-hmm.
Rothwell, these guys currently on it, it's not helping us. Those guys are gonna be long gone before they see
Unless
benefits.
it makes a benefit within like the next 2 or 3 years, I agree with you.
Yes.
Because if like a guy like Ben Rothwell, who's on a tear right now, Rothwell in another like 2-3 years, who knows?
He's not young.
No.
A guy like DC, he's not young.
No.
Mitrione, not young.
Yeah, that's true. And
Ronda's knees, she's not fighting another 5 years.
her knees were fucked up.
I mean, from judo, her knees aren't the best.
Right.
She can't do like road work and stuff.
She can't run.
She doesn't want to run. Yeah.
Knees are, yeah. Well, it's also like you know that without the human growth hormone, without any sort of, I mean, when they're testing for everything the way they're testing now, we're going to see a different playing field.
Damn right, and you're going to see younger fighters.
Yep, younger fighters, and they're going to see them retire early.
You're going to see shorter careers too.
You're going to see 38-year-old
and we're not
guys
making
fighting.
the same money we're
Costa
making.
Philippou just retired.
Really?
Yeah, Costa's a good fighter, man.
Yeah,
Good fighter.
I mean, when he came into the UFC, he was like top 10 right away. At 185,
boxing, yeah.
He's fucking vicious power.
Jeez, his power. He's so muscular, like weird, like just
He's a
kind of like
tank.
Tim Kennedy kind of muscles.
Well, he was great under Ray Longo. When he left Ray Longo, you know, I think there was a sort of bit of a conflict because he was 185. Chris Weidman was the champ. You know, how can he train with the champ? And who knows what kind of training sessions they had too. I mean, what led him to lead?
Who knows?
To leave,
man.
rather.
What's going on with Tim Kennedy? Tim Kennedy, he was talking about.
He's another.
leaving.
He's another guy who's not like, do what?
Yeah.
Tell me why.
Listen.
Hell no.
Tim Kennedy doesn't have to do a goddamn
Tim
thing.
Kennedy is not anybody's bitch.
No.
Period.
No, he's not.
He should be running things.
Yeah.
If Tim Kennedy went for president right now, I'd vote for him.
I'd vote for him.
He's the best.
Tim Kennedy, Brian Stan, fucking
Yeah.
president, vice president combo. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm
Me
in.
too.
Sign
Tim-
me
Tim-
up.
The
Studs.
reason why I'd vote for Tim over Brian is because Tim doesn't have any. You know, there's no investment with the UFC. He's like, do what? No, man, I don't work for you guys. I don't have a TV show. I'm not doing announcing.
But did you see what he said when the Reebok deal came out?
Tim?
Yeah.
Yes. And that's why
What'd
you
he
love
say?
him.
Yeah.
What'd he say?
Oh, he like put out some tweet. Are you saying me that you're going to give me $2,500 to be my exclusive sponsor? Thank you very much for your generous offer, but I'll pass.
At Scott Coker, what's
Yeah.
up?
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
does that not violate your current contract with the UFC? Have you looked at heard
I don't
anyone
know.
talk about that?
I mean, obviously it doesn't if they're doing it.
wow.
I mean, they're not stupid. They
No,
would
they
check
have the best
legally.
lawyers in the world. There's a reason why they can do certain
Yeah.
stuff.
There's always wiggle room. I'm
I
surprised.
don't. You know what? I don't think that it's a bad thing to get a big company involved and to legitimize,
but the payment.
sport.
No, if I'm
But-
Reebok, I'm like,
yeah.
hell yeah.
Right.
If I'm Reebok, I'm like, damn, we got all these guys. We get Tim Kennedy for $2,500.
Yeah.
It's the best deal in the world.
Right.
We get Big Brown for $10,000.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah, man! This is crazy.
When you look at what those guys were making before that, though, it's just like, man, to make the fighters take the hit like that.
Well, how many fighters though were able to generate sponsorship money? As far as like, was it the top 5?
No,
top
the guys
10?
who have great personalities, like Donald, Cowboy.
Yeah.
Who the fuck
killing
doesn't
it.
want to? Who doesn't want to sponsor Cowboy?
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
he's like. I would buy a certain beer if I knew that Donald Cerrone
Fuck
drank it
yeah.
after he wins
Budweiser,
by
son.
knockout. Yeah.
So would I.
Donald Cerrone wins by knockout. I'll fucking go. I'll drink a case of Budweiser that
Just
night.
to represent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell
Fuck
yeah.
He better
I
come to
got
my
you, Donald.
Yeah.
you better come to my fucking stand up.
There's a few guys like that you'll like if like Cain Velasquez wins, you might drink Tecate if that was
Yeah.
his sponsor. Just like for Cain, you know,
Yeah.
like clink glasses.
yeah.
What would someone like Donald Cerrone be making now with Reebok? Like, so he was. Let's say he was making $100
It's
grand.
like 15 fights or 16 fights. I don't know.
I don't like it.
Me neither.
You know, I don't know.
I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah, I don't like talking about it. I wish guys made more money. I wish there was more money for them to make. I wish there was more opportunities for them to figure out a way to retire safely and comfortably.
Isn't that the old story with fighters? And hasn't that always been the case? Look at
Well,
boxers.
that's also the thing with boxers. Everybody wants to compare to Floyd Mayweather. You watch Floyd Mayweather fight, pay attention to how much those guys make the first fight of the night. Pay attention to how much guys
Not
make
a
on the
lot.
undercard. Very little.
Yep.
Very little.
Boxing, in a way, is probably worse than the UFC.
It is worse than the UFC.
The only thing is Floyd Mayweather owns a piece of the promotion.
That's 1%.
Yes.
That's the 0.01%.
Well, he
for
is
the most part,
he's
yeah.
the fucking Mac Daddy of the Mac
Yes.
Daddies. He's the man.
Yes. He
he's
beat the
guy.
game. He
But
beat the game.
There's a lot of top guys that'll make $1 million a fight. You know,
yeah.
like there's a bunch of guys that do real well. You know,
The only thing I don't like is if you do say, man, I don't like me. I think the Reebok kids are terrible. Could I help them out? 100%. I think they're awful. There should be no repercussions for saying that. There should be no backlash for saying that.
Well, if
Who
it's
cares?
undeniable, here's the deal: if it's undeniable that it's good, your opinion doesn't mean anything. But if you say they look like shit and it resonates, then they got a problem with their design. Like, look. You might not like this fucking Elvis in Japan shirt.
I'm digging
that
that
shit's
shirt.
dope as fuck.
Hell yeah.
You could tell me
Certain people
you
might
could-
like it, but just
Yeah.
because I don't like it, cool, man.
You could tell me all day that this
It's
shirt
undeniable.
sucks.
Some people are going to say
Yeah.
it's cool. It doesn't matter, right? No
You
matter
can
what
tell
you say.
me all day that it sucks. I don't care.
Right.
You can tell me all day that BJ Penn jacket is stupid. I don't
Right.
care.
Who
You can
cares?
say it all day. I don't care.
Right.
Doesn't mean anything to me. Your definitely wrong in my mind for how I think what I like.
Which is
you're
great.
wrong.
That's your opinion.
Right. It's like your
Don't
car.
bully me into
your
fucking...
car. Someone could say, "Yeah, that Porsche looks like shit." You'd be like, "Oh, good luck with that."
Yeah, I'm gonna laugh.
Like, what are you talking
Come
about,
on, bro? It's a Porsche.
This is a 991, bitch.
Yeah.
This is a
Yeah.
fucking modern Porsche. Yeah, go.
Come on.
Good luck. Good
Yeah.
luck with all that.
Right.
But
Yeah.
when you say the Reebok kit sucks, and you go,
You did say something interesting about Reebok, like shoes. They've had a tough time marketing their shoes. Like I don't know a lot of people that wear the shoes. I haven't done any
CrossFitters.
research.
They're big
Yeah.
in CrossFit.
Okay.
They're
Well,
Big
huge.
in CrossFit.
They've
That's not- yeah.
they
Okay.
sponsor
They're huge
a
in
lot of
CrossFit.
CrossFit
I guarantee-
athletes.
I
I'm
guarantee-
huge in Europe.
Yeah. I guarantee most CrossFitters who go to CrossFit gyms don't wear Reeboks. They wear their shoes.
Europe pussy feels just like American pussy. It's basically the same build. It's not like Mexican Coca-Cola.
It's not
It's got a totally
geographic
different
dependent.
formula.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do, man? They're Reeboks.
Yeah,
It's
man.
not-
Look,
it
they-
is what it is.
They do have the
listen,
pump.
Look, there's
there's
not-
nothing we can do.
Yeah, look, if someone gave me Reebok sneakers and said these are the only sneakers you could wear for the rest of your life, it wouldn't hurt me.
No.
They,
No, I mean,
for
I
training,
burn them, throw
they're
them in the
great.
trash. Yeah, but it's whatever.
What
No, I'm just
the
kidding. No,
fuck?
I like Reebok.
Brendan?
I'm just
Jesus.
kidding, bro.
Brendan?
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, man. I think that it's good that a big sponsor has gotten involved with the UFC.
I think it's great,
If a
yeah.
bunch of big sponsors get involved, and then that 10,000 becomes 100,000,
That'd be sweet,
Now
man.
you're
And
talking.
that's the goal,
now
right?
we're talking.
That's the
Now
goal.
I
you're
hope
talking.
so.
I
think
hope that's the goal.
But I think that with the Reebok thing, it's an exclusive apparel contract because a
bad
lot
idea.
like Fight Chicks, they had to say that they weren't going to be at the expo, and a lot of other apparel companies
Why
had to
would
say
you?
they weren't going to be at the. No, you
Why-
can't
yeah.
be.
No,
you can't.
yeah,
be.
yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
because Reebok is the exclusive apparel contract.
We used
company.
to. I used to make good money off the expos too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those companies there. It'd be a great
It's
weekend
fucked.
for me.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not
Great
cool.
weekend. I
It's
used to
not-
do 6, 7 appearances. Good money, man.
Damn.
Yeah, it's
It's
not.
the first one I've ever missed. But listen, when you make these big decisions, you're not worried about guys like Brendan Schaub. You're not worried about these other guys. You're worried about the best thing for the company. And I'm not saying that to Dana White might be a great decision. I don't know the
And they
ins-
take
ins
people
and
like
outs.
Ronda and Connor, and they give them exclusive deals where they get big money. So Ronda gets big money. John Jones had big money before his car accident.
Connor.
Connor has big money. Yair Rodriguez got
Roy
signed.
McDonald just
Paige
got
Van
signed.
Van, did he?
Yep.
Ooh, banking on Rory.
Does
Paige Van
Reebok
Zandt?
still have to keep sponsoring John Jones?
No. He's
No.
they canceled that immediately.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, now because
immediately.
he's not in. He's suspended indefinitely.
Yeah.
well,
right?
no, they canceled it before he was suspended.
No. But if he's still, but let's say he fought next month, he's wearing Reebok, so you're still sponsoring John Jones.
Yes, but he's not exclusive. He doesn't have the exclusive deal that he had before, where they were sponsoring
True.
him outside
True,
of his fight.
but you're
Yeah.
fighting with Reebok on, so
Oh, yeah.
technically you're sponsoring.
Yeah,
like if Travis
you're
Brown,
right.
let's say, whatever, he beats up his wife and he fights next month. He's still rocking
He's wearing a
Reebok.
Reebok
Whether
shorts.
they don't like, whether
Yeah.
they like it or not, you're still sponsoring.
That's a
Travis.
very weird place for Reebok to be because now they have to kind of get involved in whether or not this guy fights because that's very damaging that's a big risk for them where you go, you fucked up. The UFC
Yeah, but there's more
forgives
pros
you.
than cons.
it's good
There's
tr-
more pros than cons.
I don't know. I mean,
That's a good point, though.
I don't know, man, because now they're they can't help but get involved in whether or not this guy fights in Reebok and wears their. If you've been, let's just say,
It's the same
before,
as the NFL.
Before
Ray
the
Rice.
trial comes out,
Ray Rice
Yeah.
plays. You have a Reebok or
It's
Nike
true.
jersey on. I'm wearing Nike.
That's
They can't control that.
No,
if you're going to sponsor everyone, you have to sponsor everyone.
Yeah.
You're going to sponsor some bad apples, but most are good.
Right? I don't know. Yeah.
That's everything. That's
Yeah.
leagues, man.
It's true. It is it's one of those things where you got a big company and they have their say, and then they have to protect their name. You know, do you think that a compromise would be that one guy would wear like plain shorts? Reebok would say, you know what, we just can't.
Yes.
You might want to let
Can't
him
do
in.
that.
I wouldn't be-
It's a uniform.
I wouldn't
You
be
cannot do
surprised if
that.
they said that. I wouldn't be surprised if they said, "Hey, in this case, but
I wouldn't be
Absolutely not.
surprised if they gave him the exact same shorts but didn't put a logo on it. If they had a compromise and made him wear a Reebok short but didn't have the logo on it,
Yeah.
he couldn't wear anything else.
They might.
But it would have to be like an extreme example where there's like a debate in a fucking closed room.
it's interesting."
And Dana White's head's turning red, and the fucking Reebok guy's yelling too. And they go, "All right, here's the deal.
Here's the deal.
Here's the compromise." You know, it would have to be one of those
it
deals.
can be it's just it'll be Reba and no K on the end.
Dude, first of all, let's break down this fucking card because this card is insane. This is, I think, maybe
Don't say bet on UFC 100. I'm going to pass
maybe
out.
one of the best cards of all time. Okay,
Really?
listen to what we got here.
I disagree.
We got shut the fuck
Shut
up,
the
Big
fuck
Brown.
up.
Disagree.
Dude. How could you disagree?
Watch, I'm
Look,
gonna piss off Brendan. Ooh,
Mendez
his reach
versus
is longer.
McGregor, I fucking love it. Okay, Robbie Lawler versus Roy McDonald, I fucking
Now
love
let's
it.
talk a little bit about that.
Let's keep going.
No, but hold on a second. Here's a fight people are sleeping on: Dennis Bermudez
fight.
versus Jeremy Stevens. That's a good fucking fight, man. That's a very good fight. Here's another fight people are sleeping on: Gunnar Nelson versus Brendan Thatch.
Brandon
Ooh,
Thatch.
Brandon Thatch. Thank you very much. Not you. Different.
Brandon's face is looking very dry.
That's
there.
a good fucking
Brandon's
fight,
huge
man.
at that weight.
Big
That's
weight
a
cut.
fucking good fight. That's a very good fight. And Gunnar Nelson, by the way, Gunnar Nelson
Sick
is a
jiu-jitsu.
wicked fucking ground fighter.
Sick jiu-jitsu.
Really?
Choked out Jeff Monson. Beat Jeff Monson, bro.
Yeah.
Might not choke
Great
him out.
wrestling.
Did he beat him?
I think you just beat him. He didn't choke
Beat
him
him.
out.
Somebody choked him out recently. It was
He's
interesting. But
he's from Iceland.
they're all wearing Reebok now. Wow, look
Now,
at that.
if we could, I mean, to say this is one of the best cards of all time, you bring up UFC 100, it will knock your dick in the dirt.
Matt Brown versus Tim Means, motherfucker. No one's even talking about that shit. That's a good fucking
It's a
fight.
good fight.
That's
It's
a
not a
crazy
blockbuster.
fight. For me, that's a great fight, man.
It's a- no,
That's
matchup-wise,
giant
it's a great fight.
Okay, what
My-
fight
my
in
mom looks
UFC
at this
100
card-
is bigger than this? What fight in UFC 100 is bigger than this? I wanna
Mir
know which one.
Lesnar?
Not to me. Not to me.
Are you fucking shitting
No,
me?
it's bigger on paper as far as like the appeal, but as far as like stylistically.
GSP, Thiago Alves, Dan Henderson,
Yes,
Michael
GSP,
Bisping.
GSP,
We're talking
Thiago Alves
superstars,
at
sir.
the time.
Here's a
Yeah.
question:
Who's
Why-
the biggest superstar up there?
These
Conor.
aren't
He
superstars.
has 5
These are
fights.
two monsters.
No,
This is a
style-wise,
wicked fight.
style-wise, these are great
That's
fights.
all I give a fuck
I'm talking
about.
about superstars, Joe Rogan. I'm talking
not
about
into that.
ratings.
I am a
You're talking about
star fucker.
entertainment,
I'm not a
motherfucker.
star fucker, Brendan
Bro,
Schaub.
go to
You
UFC
heard me.
100. Go
Tim
to
Means-
UFC 100.
Guys,
Tim Means
That
and
shit
Matt
will
Brown.
knock your
no,
dick
no, no,
in
no.
the
Don't
dirt.
go to UFC 100.
Back in the
Hold on.
day, there was Super Bowl cards. He just turned it off.
I don't like. No, he did. I don't
Super
have control
Bowl
over
card.
it.
Wait, why,
son.
why is John Howard, who was going to fight Brandon Thatch, why is he now fighting somebody else in the prelims in the undercard?
Excuse me.
But John Howard was supposed to fight Brandon Thatch.
Hey,
Oh,
UFC
because
100.
there was some injuries.
UFC
Oh, okay.
100. On the undercard is John Jones, Mark Coleman. What? Jim
Let me
Miller.
see. Yeah. I like this card better.
And look at
I'm
that
gonna be honest
main.
with-
Look at the
Yeah,
main card.
John Jones versus Jake O'Brien. Come on, that's a slaughter.
Still, it's John Jones on an undercard.
Where's John Jones before he was a champion?
A fucking monster.
He was a bad
looming in
motherfucker.
the dark.
Well, Matt Brown versus Tim Means is a better fight to me than John Jones versus Jake O'Brien. John Jones versus Jake O'Brien is an opportunity to watch John Jones choke out Jake O'Brien.
Yeah, and that shit
no
was
disrespect
and that
to
shit
Jake
was
O'Brien.
Dope. And that
It
shit was
dope.
so dope.
Tim Means versus Matt Brown is going to be a fucking crazy war.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that main card.
It's a good fight.
Oh my
It's a good card.
God.
Henderson versus Bisping is an all-time classic.
I remember with the George St.
Horrible
Pierre.
knockout. They can't even show that finishing out.
No.
Remember when he came down? They're like, edit that
launched
shit.
himself.
Edit
yeah.
that shit. He killed him.
Yeah.
They took that off.
Launched him.
Now it's Stan Hendo's signature logo.
Yeah. Him flying through the air. Imagine being Bisping and seeing that logo everywhere
Poor
and
dude.
knowing what that means.
I remember George St. Pierre when he goes, I pulled my groin. And Greg Jackson goes, then hit him with your groin. I thought it was the weirdest thing to say. I was like, well, there it is. It's not very helpful.
Yeah.
When
not at
when there
all.
weren't so many cards, like I think we're used to a little bit of watered down cards, so we're like, damn, this shit is blockbuster, son. It's good. If you go back in the day, there was some fucking Super Bowl cards, man.
Yeah, there's some big names there. There's definitely big names there. Mark Coleman versus Stephen Bonner, to me, is not as interesting as Gunnar Nelson versus Brandon Thatch.
I agree 100%.
That's a bigger
That's
fight.
a better
to me.
fight.
Yeah.
Bigger? I don't know. Better? Yes.
Bigger doesn't mean anything to me. I don't give a fuck. I'm there for all of them. So for me,
You're a
I'm
fight
there.
aficionado.
Yeah.
You're fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like,
No, I know that my tastes are. Look, I
You're
like
a
the Floyd
dilettante.
Mayweather Manny Pacquiao fight. I love that
me
fight.
too. I love that fight.
Yeah,
Me too.
but you know boxing. You understand it.
Yeah, yeah.
How difficult it is to do what
Yeah.
Mayweather did to a guy like fucking Pacquiao.
man. Unbelievable.
This fight is going to be chaos.
Chaos.
Because both these guys are animals. Tim
Dirty
Means,
Bird. What a
he's one of the
great
most
name.
underrated guys in the UFC right now. Tim Means is a fucking savage. He is a very
That's a
skillful
great
fighter.
phenomenal matchup.
Very, very good match.
Are
and
they
Matt Brown
similar
is a,
fighters, like similar
Yes,
styles?
very
grinders?
Similar styles.
very, 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 very similar.
Very
Like
similar.
mirror images of each other. Matt
Jeez.
Brown,
Caution gets thrown out the window.
both guys are warriors. Matt Brown is a fucking demon. He's a demon,
he really
dude.
is,
He
man.
is he steals souls, bro.
Yeah.
Straight
he
up.
breaks guys.
He really does.
I've never seen a guy break guys the way Matt Brown does. He's a totally different animal.
Yep.
You know, he doesn't always win, but you know the Hendricks fight exposed a hole in his game, man.
Big time.
The guy like Hendricks could just take him down, grind him out.
Tim Means ain't
can't
gonna do
stop
that.
the
though.
takedown.
Tim
No.
Means is like, yeah, let's do this.
Oh, yeah, he's
let's
gonna
meet in
do
the
this.
middle of the
Yep.
octagon, see what happens.
That's going to be a wild
Ridiculous
fight, man.
fight.
I love it. And that's a perfect fight for Fox Sports 1 prelims to get people set up to watch the main event on pay-per-view because you're going to be frothing at the mouth by the time this fight is over.
I just love the Dirty Bird. I think that's the
He's
greatest
an animal.
fucking.
He's a wicked
nickname.
dude. And he's got evil
Especially
eyes.
from Atlanta.
This motherfucker, when I interview him, I was like, ooh,
Looks
there's some
like a
darkness
dirty-
in
Really?
there. Some darkness in those
Looks
eyes.
like a dirty bird.
Both these guys are dark.
Who's on the early prelims? Anyone? Hey, home. Okay, well, those early prelims. Keep it going,
Wait,
fellas.
Paul
hold on.
Pendred versus
Go back
John
to Neil
Howard is a
Seeley.
good
What's
fight,
that?
too.
Who's the old man? He looks like a dentist.
The guy on the right.
It's the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life.
He's a tough guy.
You talking about two taps, son?
I don't know, dude.
With that
That's
salty
That's the
record? I'm
strangest
not even
face
trying
I've
to
ever seen in my
He
life.
is a very, very crafty fighter. Let me tell you something.
How old is he?
He's old. He's like 35.
Every bit of 70.
He looks 75 years old there. I mean, that's impressive.
Well, how old is he? Find out how old
I
Neil
swear to God, it looks
Seeley
like
is.
somebody put his face on a body. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but that's
You got to watch him fight.
Incredible.
He's very skillful. He's
I bet.
tough
Watch
as
your
shit.
P's and Q's, Brian.
I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just saying.
Okay, let's take a guess. How old do you think Neil is?
I'm saying he's 60.
I'm
He
saying
just-
he's
he just
I'm
turned-
saying he's 52.
He just turned 59 years
You
old.
guys are assholes.
What? We're just saying.
35. Thank you.
Okay.
My knowledge of
Okay.
age is impeccable.
Okay.
I like watching him fight. He's a crafty veteran. I appreciate the fuck out of that
Oh,
guy.
All
me
right,
too,
I'm
man.
not saying I don't. I'm
I
just saying he
called-
looked
I
old
would
in the
love for him to
picture.
get his hands on Brian.
I called
It's
his
a bad
last.
picture.
He would rape you.
I'd love that.
I called his last fight, and I enjoyed it very much.
He's Irish,
very,
too,
very
man.
skillful.
Okay, guys,
Yeah.
I'm just saying it was a bad picture.
But
Fuck off.
Smolka's no joke, dude. Smolka's a tough kid. This is a good fight. That's a very good fight. I like that fight. Brad
It's
Pickett
all
versus
right.
Almeida is a good fight. Look, at the big fights we already discussed. Nelson versus Thatch is a big fight to me. Matt Brown versus Tim Means. I'm looking forward to that fight as much as any fight this year.
Really?
You know why? Because that's fucking
The style wise,
Yeah.
is pure chaos.
And
Phenomenal
skillful
fight.
wise, Matt Brown's very skillful. Means is very skillful. Both guys
100%.
are ferocious.
Ferocious.
I
Great
love that fight. And Nelson versus Thatch, I fucking love that fight. I want to
Clash
see
of styles. Clash of styles.
Big clash of styles.
Nelson's not exactly a finisher.
Well, he can if he gets you on the ground, but Thatch is a warrior,
And
dude.
he's huge.
And
he's huge for that weight
and
class.
his KO power is undeniable.
His stand-up is some of the best in the division.
And Dennis Bermudez was on a roll until Lamas stopped
Lamas,
him.
yeah.
When Lamas stopped him, and
he won
and-
7 in a row.
Yeah,
till he
he
got
caught him
stopped.
with that beautiful guillotine. Lamas has got
Beautiful
that sidestep
body.
guillotine where he traps that arm. Who, Bermudez's body?
Yeah, it's a-
thick ass thighs, badonkadonk,
Brown,
right?
too. Got
Big
a
old brown.
ass on him.
And Jeremy Stevens, you want to talk about a murderous striker? That kid can fucking bang, and he's getting better all the time too. Training down there in San Diego. At
I'm with you, man.
Alliance.
The card's ridiculous.
Robbie Lawler
saying
versus
UFC
Rory
100.
McDonald. People are sleeping
I'm so
on that
excited
fight.
about that.
They're sleeping on that fight.
I know you don't like to call things, but
Robbie Lawler is a motherfucker, dude.
You know
He's
why?
a
His cardio
motherfucker.
lately is a
Yeah.
beast.
Well,
He's
he
sticking
knows
around in
how
late
to-
rounds, too.
Yep, and he knows how to pace himself. Well, he didn't kind of in the Hendricks fight. He kind of went at him guns blazing in that
Yes.
first round, tried
Yes.
to kill him.
I heard he doesn't spar.
No, he does. He does.
does?
now.
He used not to.
stopped for
He
a long
stopped for a
time, but
while.
a big part of his resurrection is him training at AT&T.
Yes.
AT&T and AT&T.
When he went to American
I say
Top
the same
Team,
shit.
his that was a big part of his resurrection. Is also he started sparring again there.
God, he looks like a bad motherfucker.
Rory's just so
goddamn
calculated,
killer.
man. And when they fought last time, it was a close fight, remember?
Yeah, and Rory had a
yeah.
fucked up ankle in that fight.
Yeah.
I think
I
Rory.
like he changed his
Rory,
nickname again. Now he's the
Red King, son.
He was Aries.
I like the Canadian Psycho. He likes Red King.
I think
It's
he's
whatever.
the best. I think
I
he's.
love that
I think
dude.
he and Carlos Condit. That's the fight I would like to see. I think
I
there's a
love-
tie between who's the best
yeah.
70-pounder.
I would like to see that
I think he's
again.
going to win this fight, and
They've
I think
already
he's
fought.
just
They've already-
incredible. I know, but he was a lot younger.
Oh, he was really young. He was
And-
21 at the
Well,
time.
they've already
He's a
fought,
kid.
too. I think, Roy's the favorite in this fight.
Rory's
Isn't that
different,
crazy?
but he's a different fighter. Rory's
I can see it,
So is
though.
Robbie.
Robbie's
Robbie's the
completely different.
champion of the fucking
100%,
world,
100%.
dude. He's a different fighter,
Yes.
too. And he's going to come into this fight a different fighter. This is a very interesting fight. But if Rory can start picking him apart technique-wise, that's when things get interesting. Because Rory with full movement, Rory had a fucked up ankle in that fight.
I think Rory
You know?
wins this fight.
Yeah.
I know you guys don't. I think
Wow.
Rory wins this fight. Close fight.
Or Robbie,
Close fight.
Or Robbie
do
does
too.
what he did in the first fight and hurts him bad.
I agree.
And then maybe even finishes him off. Who the fuck knows?
Who knows?
I love that fight.
I
though.
like Rory in that
I'm a-
fight, though.
That's going to be just as. That's going to be incredible.
Mendes McGregor, man.
Mendez.
I have no idea what to expect in that fight.
Mendez took this fight on short notice. So what a big factor in this fight is how much was Mendez training before he got the call? How much was he training?
Huge
That's
factor,
a big
especially
factor.
for 5 rounds.
Here's another factor. Are they allowed to use IVs in this fight? I don't know.
Does
When
that a big
go into
weight
play?
cut for Chad Mendez?
Yes.
Big,
45?
it's a big cut for both guys.
Right.
They said that Conor McGregor, according to Chael Sonnen, Conor McGregor is cutting 27 pounds this week.
Oh my God!
He weighed
good at it, too.
172.
What?
170, and I believe him, man. When I stand next to him,
Fuck, he's a big dude.
He's a big dude.
You ever seen that picture of me and him next to each other? I was like, damn.
He's
son.
very wide, and I mean that's
Huge
one of the
shoulders.
reasons. Yeah, he's thick, and it's all where the punching power comes from. It's all shoulders, and
I love Chad, man. I love Mendez. He's one of the good guys.
he's the best guy Conor McGregor's ever fought. By
Not even
far.
close. Not even
even
close.
He's a totally different
The
animal.
thing is can Conor beat a guy to this level? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like
that is the question.
I want to see him do it.
Yeah.
I root for greatness. I want to see greatness.
Well, I do too, but I root for Chad's greatness as well.
I like I said, I love both guys. I think if I'm the UFC brass, we want Conor to win. Mm-hmm. But we're not giving him any fucking layups.
This is a conversation that Dana and I had on the phone. I said, listen, man, you got to think about who was your biggest pay-per-view star, and it was a gentleman. George St. Pierre was the biggest pay-per-view star, a good-looking gentleman, and that's Chad Mendez.
Yes, but guess what? George St. Pierre was always far and away. He beat everybody, and he always beat
No, he
everybody.
didn't. Matt Serra knocked him dead.
One example.
After that,
one
no.
example.
But
One example. He was he
no.
outclassed everybody.
No,
you know?
Matt Hughes tapped him out. Look, he lost.
I know
He
that, but
locked
that
the
was
guys.
that was
Two
earlier.
guys. So, Stu,
I know.
same thing with him.
When he became champion,
Do you understand that's the same thing with Mendez? Same thing with Mendez. Mendez lost twice to the best fucking guy on the planet Earth.
True.
He lost once by knockout. He got caught with a knee.
George was a different star because he represented Canada and he was so dominant for a very, very long time after he lost. Chad Mendez wins this, I think this belt rotates.
That's what I think too.
Who knows, man? Or Mendez could go on a goddamn tear and become a dominant champion. Knock out Aldo in the rematch for the title, for the undisputed title. Anything can happen.
It's a different time period.
Does
than when
Conor McGregor
GSP was doing it.
Does
Different
Conor
weight
McGregor
class.
have a wrestler?
More talented weight class.
Way more talented.
145 is as deep as it gets now. And there's the dark horses.
Killers.
Amirkhani.
Fucking killers.
Yair Rodriguez.
Yes.
Yair Rodriguez is fucking terrifying. He's
Terrifying.
22, 23 years old, 145. How about fucking Max Holloway? That motherfucker gets better every time he fights.
Yeah,
that
Conor
fight with
beat him
Cub
and was
Swanson
hurt.
looks fantastic. Well, he hurt
Does
himself
Conor
once he was
McGregor-
already beating him.
Yeah.
He got him on the ground and in a guard pass position, popped his
True,
knee.
popped his
Does
knee.
Conor McGregor have wrestlers he trains with who are on
Yes.
the level of Chad
No.
Mendez?
You don't get to
Not-
that
not-
fucking
no. Like he's not training with a Mendez, but he's training with very good
high-level
guys.
Very good.
wrestlers.
High-level
Yeah,
wrestlers,
yeah, he's
yeah.
seen. You don't get to this level without bringing.
Yeah.
in-
But
He's
as
seen a
far
lot
as
of
like a
wrestlers.
high-level MMA wrestler who's also a banger like Chad Mendez,
It's gonna be tough to find.
There's only like a few guys on the planet like Mendez.
So how do you prepare for that kind of pressure all the time? You just have guys constantly trying to take
Well,
you
it's
down.
a different
Do your
game.
thing,
See,
man.
he's got a different. The thing is, he's fighting a totally different style now. He was gonna fight a guy who he probably didn't really have to worry too much about taking him down. What he had to worry about is being heavy on his left leg if he stands orthodox. You got to be real careful because Aldo's kicks come 30% faster than anybody else in the division. They come and that fucking shin is a whip. It just whack. Hitting that thigh, and then you feel the throbbing, and you realize, like, oh my God, I can't take many of these.
Ugh.
That Uriah Faber fight is a goddamn wake-up call to anybody. You want to learn about what happens to your fucking leg.
Yeah,
True.
Frank Yeager put a stop to those leg kicks. He just dove into a double leg every time it happened.
Frank Yeager's a
Literally,
bad motherfucker.
He'd kick and he just boom, and then he stopped throwing that leg kick. He stopped throwing it.
Well, that's his boy, right? Henry?
Yeah, hell yeah, Mark Henry.
Mark Henry
Yeah,
really
huge.
fucking is a fantastic coach.
He's a mastermind.
Literally would just dive in, like he'd get kicked and boom,
Yeah.
and just go into it.
That's
and
what
then
you gotta do.
Aldo was
This
like, I don't
this
want to do
fight
this
is so
anymore.
interesting to me, man.
Very interesting. It would be interesting if they both had full camps. It's interesting now with the added element of the fact they didn't have full camp to prepare for each other. Of course, Conor is in full camp for Aldo, so he's going to be in shape. But strategically, game plan wise, and having those fine motor skills prepared for stuffing that takedown,
Yep.
keeping the fight on the feet, preparing for an orthodox wrestler.
He
And it's
never.
also-
I bet you he wasn't even working stuffing takedowns because Aldo isn't the guy who takes you down.
Well, he certainly would work on
He
everything.
was working it. Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't get to
Certainly
this
would work
level,
on
Brian,
everything.
without fucking
Yeah, but that's not a
covering all your
huge part- that's
bases.
not a huge part of
yeah,
your
but if you're
training
going with
camp,
guys
right?
in practice, they're not just going to sit there like
Right,
dumbasses.
they're trying to take you down.
No, it's MMA.
Yeah.
You're just not going to bring in strikers. You're going to bring in all sorts of guys.
Yeah, it's a good fight.
His boy is Nelson. His boy's Nelson. He's
Gunnar
phenomenal.
Nelson,
Phenomenal at jiu-jitsu.
Right.
and very good at takedowns.
There's a lot to like about this fight. A lot to like.
I can't wait.
I like this fight as much as I like the Aldo fight, if not more. I really do. Because I've been wanting to see.
I disagree.
Yes, you're allowed to. I've been wanting to see Conor fight a wrestler.
But not on a 12-week notice, I don't. I think it's
fuck.
fucked
I don't like
up.
watching shit happen. I do. I got a real problem.
Hey, if you're his coach, if you're Conor's coach, and you know he's going to get taken down, you just tell him to keep standing up. No jiu-jitsu, just keep standing up. Keep trying to stand up.
What kind of strategy are
I
you
don't
fucking?
know, man. Can you just
What would
sit
you
the
do,
next
though?
round out?
What do you ask him? What do you tell him?
It's Conor, man. He does his thing. You got to remember, he got taken down by Dennis Seaver.
I know.
People forget that. He got taken
remember
down,
it.
popped up, but he got
Right.
taken down like 3 or 4 times.
It's harder
He
to pop
popped
up against Chad Mendes,
but he
than
got
it is
taken
against-
down.
We probably didn't anticipate that it was going to turn into a wrestling match at all, and it
Well,
was just
whatever it
standing
is,
up
you still
straight.
got taken down by Dennis Seaver.
Right. Probably
That's
just.
what worries me.
Chad Mendes is no fucking joke, dude.
Oh, but the problem is, if I'm a betting man, which I've been known to bet, if I'm a betting man, I think Chad Mendes knocks him out in the 3rd round, faking a takedown, landing a big overhand.
whoa.
That's what I think. What my heart wants, I want Conor to go out there and win.
Why do you
and his
want
thing.
Conor to win?
I want Conor to win because I like what he stands for. And when I met him, he was just a natural, genuinely good dude. And he's beating the game. I like people who beat the game.
Yeah.
He's a star. He's the 1% of 1%ers, and he backs it up. He's our Muhammad Ali. To see a guy lose on a matchup that he got on 12 days' notice against a completely different style, I don't want to see him go out like that.
No, he's so exciting
Last
to
time he
watch.
lost, he was out for a grip, you got to remember. He was in the UFC. He lost. He didn't come into the gym. His coach was like, bro, you don't come back in the gym, man. Just get out of here. I don't want to see him go out like that, man. He has a chance to be great.
He's so
he has a chance
entertaining.
to be our LeBron James. But of course, if something horrible happens like this, what happens to him, man? Yeah, that's
So
not
you
great.
think the UFC's fucking up? You think the UFC should just postpone the fight?
I think it's a bad idea what they're doing, or they should.
If
give him
I
an
was
easier
his
matchup.
manager, and I swear to God, I said this on the podcast, I would tell him to fake a fucking injury and wait till October. I really
Well,
would.
you guys got to understand how much money has been spent on this promotion.
understand.
You're
And
looking at it very short-sighted, just like the Reebok deal.
should hold it.
Break the tank! Break the tank!
Break the tank!
You know what I'm saying? You're looking very short-sighted. You make a quick buck this weekend, but in the grand
agree.
scheme of things, he has potential to be your biggest star of all time. But let's give him the worst matchup possible on 12 days' notice.
But-
and he just went through a whole camp. Who knows if he's healthy?
What if he wins?
Then he's the best.
That's the
wins.
gamble.
Hey,
He
that's
wins.
a big
That's a
gamble.
big-
Has
that's
the
a-
interim title.
That's a
gamble.
big if.
Big
Tell
gamble.
Jose, I'm coming for the other belt. I've got the real belt.
That's what I want to hear. That's what I
Get
want
your
to hear.
spit bucket and shine up my belt and bring it here to me now.
Yeah.
If he wins, it pays off. It's
Yeah.
huge. It's the
Yeah.
big. It's,
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yes. Everyone in the UFC is
Man,
like, okay.
I would-
Well,
I'd get
there's
myself
so
an
many
ankle problem
questions
real
about
quick.
him, man. There's so many questions, and that's what's exciting about the Mendes fight is that it's look for sure Aldo was going to test him, but Mendes is going to fucking test him too.
in a different way, for sure.
We need to find out whether or not they can use IVs for this fight.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's
Such a
rare you
different
get
style.
I'm just saying it's rare you get a guy of his capabilities, and we have something that could be great here.
His
to give him
entertainment
this
value.
horrible
He's so
matchup on
entertaining.
12 days
Yeah.
is tough.
I just love his entertainment. He makes me want to see the fight. He's so
Yes.
exciting. He's such a great showman.
Not that Chad, and I love Chad. Everyone knows this. I love
people
Chad
that are
Mendes.
listening, please let me know if you do know whether or not, because we're not going to Google this while it's happening. Please let me know if you know whether or not they're going to be able to use IVs during this fight. If they'll be able to use IVs after this weigh-ins, because eventually
That's big, man.
it's going to be giant, and especially when you got a guy like Connor's cutting 27 pounds. Where did you get that statistic about it takes 7 days to fully rehydrate?
I talked to a medic, an army medic on the set of Kingdom, who was a wrestler in college, and he was talking about how he said the biggest problem with this IV thing. And this is just him. I don't know if it's right, but he said the biggest problem is that you're going to see a lot more traumatic brain injury if guys aren't allowed to hydrate with IVs.
bad idea,
because it
man.
takes a long time to hydrate orally as opposed to with an IV.
Fucking relax.
And he said that to get fully hydrated where your cells are where they were before, it takes up to 7 days. Now, I don't know if that's the case, but he's
Well,
a
that's what
medic.
Andy Foster said, that a good percentage of fighters are fighting dehydrated.
Yeah,
When
100%.
they get into the octagon, they're not
Not
fully
good for your
hydrated.
brain.
No.
Not good for your brain.
A lot of time you see guys who weren't successful at one weight class, they cut weight class, and then their chin goes. It's usually because they're cutting a lot of weight, so you don't have that fluid in the brain.
Very dangerous.
Jamie's got some information for us. What's this? Okay, July 1st. That means UFC 189 participants can expect to be a part of the new regime. Oh my God. So this 189, they can't fucking rehydrate.
Let me ask you this. How do they know if a guy rehydrates with electrolytes and fluid?
Well, here's the problem.
How can
man.
you test that?
Yeah, that's a good point.
You can test. You can test because you can
Fluids?
test for plastics in the blood. There's residue. You're talking about
Yeah, that's
microscopic amounts of residue from the plastics.
Now you're testing for fucking plastics.
Yeah.
Now you're testing for plastics, which apparently the reason this all came out is the plastics can mask, apparently, according to this medic, the plastics themselves, I guess, can mask whether or not you've been blood doping, or there are similar compounds in there, and it makes it harder to test. And that
That's
was
not what
the
I had heard. That's
what
interesting,
did
but
you
it might
hear?
be true. What I'd heard was that the plastics was how they test for blood doping. Because if they test your
got you.
blood and your blood has traces of
I
this
got you.
plastic in it, means you might have taken bags of blood and put them back in your
That doesn't
body.
hold water either, though, because then you could just say I was doing what everybody else did, which is an IV. I was
But you
rehydrating.
can't do an IV.
You can't do it.
No, I'm saying before that, right? So before that,
Well, they didn't test
yeah.
for it before that. This is the first time
Yeah.
they've ever tested for these plastics.
I
And
don't
because
know,
this is the
man.
first time they've had IVs have been used not just openly, but I mean they talk about
Yes.
it. We
Everyone
talk-
does.
Yeah.
Yes,
Hey,
it's,
Wada,
it's
thanks for
healthier for
nothing.
it's healthier for the fucking fighters. It's dangerous to not IV.
Right, but is it? Look, BJ Penn says IVs are for wimps, and he wrote hashtag beer and hot dogs.
He's never sucked a lot of
gangster,
weight though.
Yes, he has. He made 145.
Yeah, he sucked a lot
BJ
of
Penn. BJ Penn is.
Look at that.
He's not that tall. It's
BJ
not-
also
it's not
fought
as
at a
hard.
different time, though. I
Yeah.
think now it's a little different now.
It's
Guys
not as
are
hard
cutting
for
a lot
him.
more weight
Yes.
than when he
Yeah.
back in the
Right,
day.
but I still say that the BJ Penn that fought Diego Sanchez was one of the best, if not the best, 155-pounder that ever walked the fucking face of the planet.
I agree.
And didn't use an IV.
I understand,
He's
but
the
guess
exception.
what? Guess
You got
what?
the exception.
BJ Penn walks around not heavier than 170 from what I've seen.
No,
Okay,
you're right.
so
Which
it's
is
not a big-
smaller than Conor McGregor.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
not a huge weight cut for
And he
him.
fought Lyoto Machida at heavyweight.
How insane is
That's
that?
my boy.
Such a badass.
BJ Penn, such a legend.
He's a warrior. One of the
And
greatest
the
of all
nicest
time.
guy ever.
The best. He's
So cool,
awesome.
man.
Unless you fuck with him.
No, I don't
Fuck
wanna
with him.
fuck with him.
It's the wrong dude to fuck with.
Yeah, I remember when Dove Davidoff and I met him at this premiere.
Oh, wait
and
a
he
minute. The
looked like-
IV ban, somebody just tweeted me this. The IV ban has been pushed till October.
Good.
Oh, snap, son.
The back IV ban for UFC fighters until October.
Nice.
Concerns over dangerous weight cuts and improper rehydration in the short term have won out over the US ADA's desire to get rid of IV usage. Fighters will now have a 3-month grace period to adjust. Yeah, there's an argument that they shouldn't do this.
I agree.
I'm gonna go pee out of my.
You
huge
go
dick.
pee out of your dick hole. Thank you to Dan
I'm right after
Worms.
you.
Dan Worms on Twitter for sending me that information. Yeah, this is interesting times.
It's a game
man.
changer, man.
Interesting times.
And the reason they postpone is what I heard is there's a lot of pushback, right? Like a lot of fighters like, whoa, this is too short
Well,
notice, man.
Doctors as well,
I'm
and
sure.
including the UFC doctor. The
And
UFC
who makes
doctor's
these rules?
very
People who
unhappy
have
about
never
this.
fought or cut weight before, really.
Exactly.
Especially in the octagon.
But
You can't do this. Okay, how many fights you been in? Shut your fucking mouth.
yeah, I don't know what they're thinking, man, with all this bringing these people in to. I mean, I guess the idea is to try to clean up the sport, but
Relax.
short term, it could be devastating.
Horribly devastating. The thing is to my understanding, they say they test five times out of competition randomly, right? Now that's just five random
times a
guys
year.
5 random guys a year.
Yeah.
That's not five. Every fighter's tested 5 times per
Every
year.
fighter's tested 5 times a year.
I don't think so. I think
Yeah.
it's 5 random.
No.
Every fighter, 5 tests.
Every fighter on the roster is going to be tested 5 times randomly a year.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Because they told me otherwise. Dominic
Okay.
Cruz told me otherwise.
Well, Dominic may be right, but I don't think he is. Every fighter on UFC
That's what I
roster.
thought. I thought it was every fighter on the UFC roster tested 5 times a year, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it.
But then that's what. And Dominic's like, no, man, it's five fighters randomly
No,
throughout the
that
year.
doesn't make any sense. That's stupid.
But if
There's
they can
500
test anyone.
Revamped UFC drug policy includes random year-round testing, 2-year suspension for first-time offenders. Let's see. First offense. Okay, when are they going to test? Where does it say? 5. Tell me to find this.
See, I thought everyone could be tested, but they're not guaranteed each individual tested 5 times throughout the year.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
That'd be think how many tests that is. So
yeah,
what,
but I
there's
think
700
that's
fighters.
that's the whole idea. Every fighter 5 times a year.
Man,
Yeah.
for sure save money on testing
Yeah.
and give it to the fighters in sponsorship. I got to take a
No,
peek
they're
myself.
not going to save the money for the fighters. They're going to
Let's
test.
just keep testing and spend $1 million. That makes
Randomly
sense.
test all 500 athletes several times a year. We're sending a message. If you're cheating, you'll get caught, suspended, and fined. We want the sport to be clean.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. It's all...
In a way, I feel like science is, they're not on the side of time and technological advancement, and it's going to be very tough because I feel like science is always going to find a way to beat any kind of test. Testing is always behind. I'm not saying it's an excuse, but I'm just saying it's going to be interesting to see how now scientists who are involved in the fight game and fighters figure out a way around this testing 5 times a year. Very difficult, but something will happen.
Well, it'll be a battle between the cheaters and the detectors because
Yes.
the science involved in detecting is getting better as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's weird, man. It's like there's a battle between cheaters and non-cheaters. Like how many guys like just snuck under the wire and retired before it all ended?
I would imagine a lot.
Wouldn't you love to
just see
go-
the change in their bodies.
When
you know?
Randy Couture was in his 40s and he was beating the shit out of people, wouldn't you love to kind of look at his blood work? What we got going on here, fella?
Well, he was kind of open about being on TRT, I think, later on in his career, right?
I don't believe he was.
I thought it was kind of known when he was 45. He was doing some testosterone.
No.
No?
No, I think it was all just speculation.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think, but
Again, I don't know how you do it with training 3 times a day, wrestling, kicking. Good luck without
I
some
would like
help.
to do blood work on Herschel Walker. When Herschel Walker was 48 and he fought in Strikeforce and was built like a brick shit
He's
house.
been a freak, though. He's been such a one percenter for so long in the NFL. Before in
Yeah.
college, they were like, "What?"
He's a 1%er of 1%.
235 with world class speed.
Outlier.
Yeah.
Total outlier.
Just like Bo Jackson.
Yeah,
Just nobody'd seen
exactly.
anything like that.
Yeah, every now and then you get one of those dudes,
Yeah.
right?
Didn't even lift. Just had a crazy regimen, exercise regimen, but just body weight stuff and 1,000 push-ups a day, 1,000 sit-ups a day.
Yeah.
Weird stuff. It was a
Yeah.
religion for him. He never went out and drank. They did a really interesting profile on him.
Well, there was other guys that were like that too. I mean, there's always a few guys that just will work harder than anybody else on top of the fact that they're just absolute freak athletes.
Yes.
And that's like a Herschel Walker.
Yes. Kobe Bryant, same way. Nobody has his work ethic. It's weird, his work ethic.
Kobe Bryant?
Yeah.
Oh,
The craziest thing in the
obsessive.
world.
Nothing
Yeah.
better. Michael Jordan, too.
And
Yeah.
Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather
Oh, yeah.
is
That's what I've
so
heard.
obsessed with training. He'll wake up at 3 a.m. and make everybody come to the gym.
Then
He
he'll
just has
come
to work
home
out.
and
Yeah.
beat the shit out of his wife just for extra training. I mean, it's ridiculous, man. His training
Brendan,
is
you
ridiculous.
worked there.
I think
You-
he's more of a choker.
No,
You know,
no,
he
he's
doesn't
not.
like the
He hits,
UFC
no, I heard he
except-
hits her on top of the head so she
Really?
can't see the
Oh, that's
welts.
interesting.
Oh, because you have to shave her head to prove the welt?
Jesus.
Well, that's smart.
Jesus, he's
You don't get to
smart
his
in a
level
bad
without
way.
being smart.
You know what you do? You open hand. Well,
Well,
I'm going to give advice.
Oh, what's that movie? The
Travis Brown's all.
If people listen.
Oh, you want do what? Okay. Now, do I hit him with the liver or?
Oh, that's
when
so
Brittany
fucked up.
Palmer's husband's like, keep going, Joe.
Do you remember that? Do you remember that movie, The Grifters, when the guy takes a pillowcase and he starts putting oranges in the pillowcase, and he goes, "You know why I'm doing this?" And Angelica Houston goes, "Yeah, because you can hit me. And when you hit somebody with a pillowcase with oranges, it doesn't create any bruises." And she knows he's going to take a pillowcase with oranges.
I don't think that's true.
Well, that's in the
I load up
movies.
a pillowcase full of oranges, hit you in the face, and you get fucked up,
gonna get
Callen.
fucked
Yeah,
up.
you're going to black
I remember-
eyes.
Your eyes are gonna be swollen
No,
shut.
he's going to hit her in the body. And I remember going, "God damn, that's terrible.
That's
That's a
some
terrible
asshole
scene."
who wrote a movie
Maybe, man.
that's never beaten
All
anybody
I
up
know-
before.
all
Same
I
guy's
know-
banning IVs.
All I know is it's awful. I was like,
Fucking
that's a
bullshit,
horrible thing.
man.
A pillowcase with oranges, and I'm going to beat the fuck out of you with it.
That is
What?
awful.
It's like the woman who killed a man with
That'd be
a
easy to
frozen
defend.
leg of lamb.
What?
So she took a frozen leg of lamb, bashed him in the fucking head, and then cooked it and ate it.
While he was
Fed it to
sleeping.
her and her kids. No, he was. I think apparently he was at the table, and she took it and just cracked him in the back of the head and bludgeoned him to death with a leg of lamb, and then cooked it and ate it.
Where did this happen?
It's a long time ago. I think it was in
Scotland
England or something.
in the
Yeah,
1800s.
England.
Weird
England.
shit.
England. That's funny you say Scotland. Yeah,
Jesus, man.
crazy, right?
People have killed people with everything.
They come up with all kinds of ways.
Skateboards. Sure, people kill
Oh,
people
if
with
you can think
skateboards.
of it, it's happened.
Yeah.
You want to get
for
rid of
sure,
the
right?
body. That's why they say the mafia used to feed you to pigs because they'll eat everything, including the head.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
there's that Mexican cartel guy. I forget the name for it, but in Spanish it means like porridge stew because he would have this vat where he'd put the bodies in.
Well, acid. They use acid. That's true. They talked about this guy who he was involved in horse racing, and he turned out to be a member of the Zeta cartel, or what was that? Remember that? Those guys were really awful.
Yeah, one of them for sure.
And he used to, he was a big in the horse racing thing, and one of the testimonies was that the guy, he brought him out to talk to him because they were just a little suspicious. And another guy was walked out, and he had a blindfold on. And they just shot him. They do, hold on for a second, we got to do something. Boom, shot him, and then put him in acid. And they go, look, so we want to talk to you. Sorry about that. And the guy starts throwing up, and just terrified. He goes, sorry, we had a nasty business. But anyway, he's gone now. Just boiling away in acid, just disappearing. And he goes, so we had to talk. There's a rumor, apparently, that you're talking to cops. I know that's not true. Personally, I know. I just want you to know that I know it's not true. Anyway, you want to grab a beer? That's how they would kind of let you know, by the way, that if there's any question, you'll be in that Vado acid.
Yeah, you might want to start planning your trip to Costa Rica.
Yeah.
You might want to fucking get some fucking plane ticket to Canada.
Yeah.
When the feds come to talk to you and they say they're going to protect you, you might want to.
Finland's a good spot. You fucking get the fuck out of Mexico.
I mean, how much easier was it to get away with crime back in the day than now, man?
Oh, my
You can't do
God.
shit now.
Yeah.
You can't do anything now.
Well, they didn't even have
Technology, man.
fingerprints.
Technology, yeah, man.
They didn't even have fingerprints.
I was watching a documentary on mobsters, like the American mob, where it started in New York and all those guys. And you look at the whole setup they had, and it's like, God, these days you're not doing that.
Yeah,
shit,
but you know
man.
what, man? I
Not
talked to some Philly detectives, like two long-time veteran detectives in Philadelphia. I spent a lot of time with them. And I said, he said, we don't rely. You'd be amazed at how we don't rely a lot of times on forensics and fingerprints. He said, when you're investigating a murder, they were homicide detectives. He said, when you're investigating a murder, you have to realize most people confess. Once you get them in questioning, that what you're dealing with is they know in their hearts, they've been raised, even if you're a sociopath, you've been raised from a very young age to believe this, to know that this is the ultimate crime. You took another life. And by the time you get them in there and you know how to properly interrogate somebody and really ask them questions, and more importantly, get them on your side. Just go, listen, dude, listen. Everybody does crazy shit once in a while.
There's a Radio Lab podcast about that guy that was a very prolific serial killer in the Pacific Northwest with a river killer. What was it? Green
River Killer. Yeah.
And
Seattle, I think.
He was committing necrophilia on a lot of these girls, and they had to get him to admit it. Mm-hmm. So they talked to this guy, and the guy who was the interrogator, he talked to him for 6 months. Every day he would sit down with this guy for 6 months. He would try to figure out what the fuck the guy did. And then slowly but surely, over the course of this 6 months, the dude slowly started admitting all the different things that he did, and admitted why he did it, and admitted he did it just because he enjoyed it.
Damn.
And for a while, he tried to say that the girl pissed him off and this, that. He goes, did you enter into this knowing that she could make you upset and that you would wind up killing her? And he goes, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did. Mm-hmm. I go, well, why'd you do it? Because I had to do it. I had to kill. Like
Richard Walter, who's an incredible profiler, said I think it was like the Green River Killer, but the guy was clearly killing women, and he said to the cops, he said, just put a stake out at this site. You will find him in his car. He will be jerking off. You'll find him. He'll come back to the site. He masturbates here and thinks about what he did. Sure enough, that's how they caught him. They see a guy jerking off his car, looking right down where he buried the body,
jacking off,
and they go, "Hey, buddy, want to talk to you?"
Yeah, what are you doing? We know, and then they come in, and there are behaviors. This book, The Murder Room, is so fucking incredible. This guy Richard Walter. There are behaviors that people do, like certain guys will rape and kill a woman, but when they're raping her, if she dies in the process, they'll stop immediately because they don't want the cops to think they're freaks.
Oh,
God. All kinds of weird shit like that.
Well, that was the thing about this Green River guy, is that he didn't want them to know that he fucked them after they were dead.
That's right.
He didn't want to admit it.
Because he had an ego. He had an ego.
And the guy, the way he got him to do it, he goes, look, you wouldn't be the first guy. A lot of guys have done it.
That's right.
He's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he goes, yeah, I did do that. Mm-hmm. I did do that. I did do that. And I'm like, oh.
They got a guy, a high-level terrorist, who had never seen porn, and they started showing him porn.
Oh.
And they said, and it was like the carrot and the stick, and he was like,
It's like candy.
You want to see more of this? We'll show you more. What the
He
fuck?
had
Tell
never
us."
seen
And he started
porn?
talking just to see it. No, he came up in a very strict Islamic society.
So they showed him some dick sucking.
Fuck yeah,
He was like,
man.
oh,
He was like,
shit, what do you wanna know, Doug?
With these really hot girls, you
so
get with.
much excitement
Yeah.
in my pants.
Let me tell you something, man. Belladonna and Asa Akira will get you talking if you haven't seen
Belladonna
it.
will get you throwing up when she puts that baseball bat up her ass.
Listen,
I
don't-
can't down that.
Hey, don't
Asa,
talk badly about my
But if
girlfriend.
Asa, yeah, I'll freaking tell you whatever you want.
We
to
had
know.
Asa on the podcast. She was fucking great. Asa Akira,
Yeah, she was cool.
smart.
She's cool.
He went like this.
No, she was.
He
She
went
was
like this.
Yeah, no,
she's
she's
all
good.
right.
Smart
I
girl.
wouldn't go with fucking great, would you?
Great's intense.
Yeah.
Great's intense.
great might be a little
Great.
intense. Too much of a big
Great's
word.
intense.
Are you be a little hyperbole there? Maybe.
Never seen one of her porns. How about that?
Fuck
What
off.
I haven't.
What's wrong
I'd
with
admit
you?
if I had.
Brian.
I swear to God, I
You've
haven't.
never seen her.
Not one.
You've never seen her work.
Not a
How
one.
dare you not do research
that weird?
before that episode?
Yeah. Well, I know she
'Cause
does.
I went
I know
extensive.
yeah, she does some heavy shit too.
Oh,
I mean,
almost too much. We're
Yeah.
like, okay, well, that can't be fun.
well, on my podcast, she said her skin was bad because she was taking, and her dermatologist said, "I think you're taking in too much testosterone."
Too many loads?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
that's when you got a whore on your hands.
Brandon, are you
be honest.
suggesting?
Can you imagine if you taken so many loads that it changes your biological profile?
Can you imagine if you're just dating a girl and she's like, God, my fucking face keeps breaking out. What's happening? These fucking guys busting all over my face, man.
No,
It's
busting
just-
in her. You're ingesting.
So much cum in her body,
Yeah.
probably anally, a lot of it.
Yes, and
go right in your
anally,
bloodstream.
anally, orally.
Holes.
I don't. That doesn't make that noise when I'm coming, unless I'm farting, dude. Yeah, I've never had that noise come
There's
out of
something
my dick.
hot about that. There's something hot about that, though, I thought.
I would agree with you.
With Asa?
I agree. I like a turbo slut. It's, always have, always will. gentlemen.
Turbo slut. Contact Asa and have her print up that shirt immediately.
slut.
I'm a turbo slut.
with
great.
glitter.
I'll make you a shirt, Asa. Let me know. I will sell them Fire the Kid. Hashtag turbo
Turbo.
slut.
Why don't we make them? I'll wear turbo,
Turbo
slut.
slut? That's
Fuck yeah.
tough to market, my
Come
man.
on, dude.
No, it's not. Not
be a
after this
baby.
show.
Hey,
You
wear
could
this.
definitely-
Hashtag turbo slut.
Yeah, I guarantee you, if you guys put out a turbo slut shirt, and
It'll sell out.
Yeah,
If
give
we
it
should
to
do
guys, give for the girls.
A limited edition for women. You don't have the balls. I say do it,
What?
and you can fucking.
Limited edition. Just make 20. They'll sell instantly.
Exactly.
20 of them.
Make 20
Watch
of
how many
them.
tweets we get now about turbo
Hey,
slut.
I want a turbo slut shirt.
They will.
Yes, I
People
agree.
wear it. Turbo slut's a great word.
Turbo
I agree.
slut's funny.
Turbo
great-
slash slut, or is it just turbo
No,
slut?
just turbo slut.
It's a great designation.
Is it one word or two words?
2 words, I guess. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
2
Yeah.
words.
Turbo
Or you can just do
slash?
hashtag turbo slut.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Hashtag turbo slut.
Yeah.
Oh.
Turbo slut. That's gonna like anything that happens in the news now from now on. Hashtag turbo slut.
Turbo slut.
Yes.
Anytime a girl does something fucked up, it's gonna be
Fucking
hashtag turbo
Yes.
slut.
Fucking
Anytime
turbo
a
slut.
girl
Turbo
cheats on a
slut.
man in
Turbo
the news.
slut.
Hashtag turbo slut.
Can work for guys too,
Brandon,
man.
make that
Yes.
T-shirt.
I'm on
Hashtag
it.
turbo slut. I
Make
like it.
I'm not
For
mad
girls.
at
We
it.
don't have any women's tee. We don't have
Well,
any.
that's more of a guy's tee, I think.
All right.
You think so?
Tank top.
What girl's gonna wear? Yeah, I'm a turbo
Guys,
slut.
guys will buy it for their girl.
You don't think Asa would wear it?
Yeah.
Okay, we got one sale.
Hey, man.
I'm in the market of making money.
Every girl in the those suicide
Fuck
girls,
yes,
those
they
girls
will.
would all wear
Turbo
it.
slut.
Fuck yes.
Hashtag turbo slut.
Come on.
son.
I guarantee Whitney, just for shits and giggles, Whitney Cummings would wear it.
Whitney would not wear that
She'd
shirt.
be as a joke. She'd
Whitney
fucking
would
wear
not
it.
wear
She's
that
more
shirt.
of a feminist and
Yeah,
women
I'm telling you,
empowerment
Whitney
type
would
That's
not
why
wear
she'd
that
wear it, because it's funny and silly.
Well, I disagree.
All right, I'm talking for her.
I don't know
She'd
if
probably
it
be like, "Shut
works
up, Brian."
like that, dude. I don't know if it works like
Listen,
that.
man, I'll wear that.
How about
fucking
we sell
shirt
it
in
on
a heartbeat.
BryanCallen.com?
All right.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
No problem.
Turbo slut.
TFATK.
TFATK.com.
I like our website.
TFATK.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have a great fucking show. I'll tell you that. I love your
buddy.
podcast. I'm
Thank
so
you.
happy that you guys are doing it. It's so cool to see so many people that have great podcasts now. This is one of the best times ever for like listening to shit.
Dude,
Like,
how about Marin had the president of the United States in his garage?
I know, isn't that crazy?
That's some
so crazy.
shit, man.
It's weird.
That's so
weird.
crazy.
It's
I
kind
was
of
like
weird.
proud. As a
Yeah.
podcaster, I was like, fuck yeah, man.
It's really weird, right?
Yeah.
It's weird. It's like, wow, these are weird, man.
That's
crazy.
an interview you prepare for.
You could tell he was nervous.
Oh, well, how do you not be?
No, I'm just saying, you could yeah, for sure. It's in his garage.
Leader of the free world.
Yeah.
And then, but he asked Obama. He said, "Do you get nervous to do this stuff?" And Obama basically was like, "I'm in your garage. I'm not that nervous." He's like, "I've talked to bigger crowds. We're in a garage."
Obama
Yeah.
did Between Two Ferns with Zach Galifianakis. I was amazed.
He did?
And he was funny.
He did?
Yes, and he was really funny.
Wow. Zach Galifianakis is awesome.
Yeah, Zach's always been the funniest
Dude,
person in
you
the world.
said on a recent podcast that you think Kevin Hart's the biggest comedian ever, all time.
Yeah, I think he's the biggest in the United States.
Bigger
I
than
take
Eddie
it back.
Murphy.
Yeah, definitely.
I love that guy.
Definitely,
I
he
love
is.
that
He's
guy.
bigger. He's
So
bigger.
funny.
He's bigger as far as like what he could do, like arenas and stuff like that. But Russell Peters is the biggest internationally. So it's like Kevin Hart is the biggest in America, but Russell Peters sells out the O2 Arena in
What?
London
That's why
2 nights in a row.
Yeah, he's great, and Russell's just a great guy. We're gonna
Russell
give him a podcast.
hosted last night at the Ice House in Pasadena.
That's how humble
my
he is.
show at the Ice House.
Yeah.
I called him up. I asked him if you want to do it. He goes, "Yeah, fuck yeah." He goes, "Can I host?" I'm like, "You can do whatever you want.
He's
You can-
so humble.
You can fuck my wife. Like, you can take a shit on the
beast,
stage. You do whatever you want, man. You're Russell Peters.
He's truly humble, and he's such a funny
he
dude
gave
and
me
such
this
a good
watch.
guy.
He gave me a Breitling.
Wow.
Damn, for
Russell.
what?
It's like a
Russell.
$7,000
It's a great watch.
Russell,
yeah.
I
For
want to
what?
watch.
Just for the
give
hell
it
of
to me. He had it on. I go, "That's a sweet watch." He goes, takes it off and he puts it on me. I go, I can't take your watch. And he goes, "Come on, take my fucking watch."
Damn.
He's the best.
Was he the coolest guy ever?
Yeah, he is.
He is one of the nicest human beings I've ever met
never
in my
met him.
life. He couldn't be more supportive of comics. Couldn't be
amazing.
more generous with like taking guys on the road with them,
Wow.
promoting guys,
He's
helping guys
amazing.
out.
Everything about him is great.
And that's one of the reasons why he's so successful.
And loves the fight game, jiu-jitsu, boxing.
So you think he's bigger
Loves it.
than Kevin Hart?
Internationally, he
Yeah.
is. Internationally, he is. But Kevin Hart's bigger in the United States.
He's so big.
Kevin Hart is so talented for me. Like he's one of those guys. I've worked with him twice, and he makes me laugh. He's always making people laugh.
He's
always.
very, very funny. But
Another
he's
generous guy.
Very generous and
Yep.
super motivated.
Yes.
Like
Crazy work ethic, right?
Oh,
I
yeah.
love his work ethic.
Me too.
I go to his Instagram. He's always working out and doing all kinds of crazy shit.
Yeah.
He's got an Instagram once. He's like in the trailer. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning. They already been to the gym. He fucking flew in from another state. He did a concert last night in front of like fucking 30,000 people. Now he's on the movie set. All the other people in his trailer are falling asleep. And he's like, "Look around. Look at my trainer. My trainer's falling asleep. Trainer, man, can't keep up. This ain't a lifestyle for everybody."
Yeah.
He's a bad
He never
motherfucker.
stops, and he never stops writing.
The one thing I see, especially with comedians, a lot of you guys, all you guys have crazy work ethics, I feel like.
If you have to be.
Yeah.
You have to like to
Especially this day and age, right?
to create material, to create new material all the time.
I'm going through that
You
now.
have to. You have to constantly be on stage. You have to constantly be writing. You have to constantly be thinking. Madison Square Garden, he sold out 3
out.
shows, dude. Get the fuck out of here,
He
man.
deserves it. He's so
We're making
fucking
history,
great.
people. Madison Square Garden, he sold out 3. Look at the
comedic
fucking
rock star
audience down
shit.
there. Look at the audience there.
He's a comedic rock
Scroll
star.
down so you can see that better. Scroll down.
Gold mic with a gold mic.
It won't let you scroll down anymore? No?
Damn, look at that.
This, that's it. That's the image.
He's
That's
awesome.
It's insane. He's got a gold mic. Oh my god, he
That's
has
a gold mic,
microphone.
Pretty
motherfucker.
dope.
He uses a gold microphone. That's hilarious.
Damn right he does.
Why not? Why wouldn't he?
Why
Yeah,
not?
why?
Why would you want a silver one?
He's always been. He's such a generous person. He's such a good guy.
Well, I told you I met him. We was out with his kids and his girlfriend once, and I ran into him. He was like, couldn't be friendlier.
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
never met him before.
Really?
But I met him. He immediately gives me this giant hug. He's
Loves
super
to play.
friendly.
He
Loves to
loves
talk.
to
You know
play.
who could have been almost as big as him if certain things would have went his way? Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle at the time was fucking
Yeah.
big.
He
man.
still could be. He still could be if he wanted to. Dave
think?
Chappelle's yeah, absolutely. Dave Chappelle's a different animal.
Different animal.
Dave Chappelle likes to show up with a fucking microphone and a speaker and do a show in a park. Like he's done.
He's been
shit
doing
like
that since he was
before.
17.
Yeah,
He's a monster.
he's very, 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 very funny, man.
Super talented.
Yeah, and he's
Remember
still.
when his show, the Chappelle Show, was huge, and
Oh,
then he
yeah.
just disappeared, right? Because he didn't like the way things were going.
Well, they
and
were
he just
trying
dipped out.
to get him to listen to them and do their show hit their way, and they wanted him to stop saying the N-word. There was all sorts of shit was going on. They were, they had a big DVD deal on the table. That was like $50 million, and he was like, you know what? I'm going to do whatever I want to do. So fuck off, and just went to Africa. You know.
I think both his parents are professors, aren't they?
I don't know, but I know, still to this day, he's doing great. It's
Oh,
not
I'm
like,
sure.
but he's not the guy like
On his
he's
own
not
terms.
a Kevin Hart guy.
No.
He smokes cigarettes. He believes in conspiracy theories. Like he works out a little bit, but he's not the kind of healthy that
Yeah.
Kevin Hart
Yeah.
is. Kevin Hart is like he's gonna be like Oprah.
I watched Kevin Hart wrestle with Lawrence Fishburne. We shot this scene where he had to basically have a fight with the guy. You want to talk about athletic and explosive? He might be 5'4", but we were all going, look at how fucking fast he moves. And he was doing it comedically, like coming under his legs, and Lawrence is a big guy. And it was just like, I was kind of taken aback with just how long he was able to keep that shit up, doing his own stunts, jumping through the air, diving through
He's
his
very
legs.
fit.
Fucking fit, man.
Well, he has
Rocked.
videos he puts on Instagram of him working out every morning, and he
Yeah.
does crazy shit like he climbs a rope up to a chin-up
I
bar.
wish you would ditch the workout gloves, though. He's the
gloves
little
are
workout gloves.
bitch-ass.
That's
But a lot of guys don't want to have
And he has
calluses.
the pad when he squats. Like, bro.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Hey, man.
it's tough, man.
Hey, a lot of
He's
guys
doing
don't-
everything he can, though. You know.
He's not a pro athlete, bro. You take it easy.
Just saying.
You
A lot
don't
of
use a
guys
bar.
don't
You don't
want
use a
calluses.
bar on your big back.
Pad? Did you say pad on
A
the bar?
bar. I mean a pad. A pad. You don't use a pad on the bar.
Never.
Really?
Son.
You put that fucking bar on your back and just squat down.
Can't do
huh?
that, man. There's
Really?
etiquette. Yeah, you
Wow.
just can't do
Man
that.
It's
to
not
fuck up.
allowed.
Man to fuck up, Bryan Callen.
Dude, I use.
can't wear
Chin-ups
gloves either.
With gloves on? Do you wear gloves?
I
when
don't.
you do
I don't
chin-ups?
use chin up. I don't use gloves. I should maybe because I do a lot more. A lot more, you guys. A lot more. I deadlift though. I deadlift without. I don't use gloves with my deadlift either.
Yeah, do you?
Did
I
you
go
spar?
crazy,
Did you
dude.
spar yesterday?
Yes, I did.
Do you get hit in the head?
I was sparring somebody who wasn't
You still get hit in the
that
head?
good. So
Wasn't mobile?
I didn't get hit in the head.
Didn't have
You
good-
didn't get hit once.
No,
I have a hard time
I did
believing
spar
that.
Wayne the day before, and Wayne did hit me in my face once with a
So
good
you
right.
sparred a guy so shitty he didn't land one shot?
What are
He's
you,
just-
Roy Jones Jr.?
What are you, a bully?
yeah,
What
I'm
are
a
you,
bully.
Travis Brown?
He probably is not the most athletic guy. That's correct, and so I did not get
Who are
hit.
you sparring?
Whoever-
Some guy who's
whoever,
like
you
an
know.
accountant?
He didn't
Wayne
touch you
puts me.
once?
Wayne puts me in with different dudes, and you know.
And
Did you spar the
with him?
shit guy
Yeah.
from $1 Million Baby?
I don't want to talk badly, and if you don't mind, can you
He
keep your
didn't touch
please
you?
keep your no, he did not. Can you keep your references
So
down?
next time you spar him, you need to say, hey, I'm going to go beat this kid up.
I've been sparring with Wayne, who you know, and
You're not sparring with Wayne.
I know that. I'm just saying that he throws punches at me, and I'm learning how to move. And
Let's
if I'm
explain
with a
who
guy who's
Wayne
not
is.
very
Wayne
We're talking
Wayne
Wayne McCullough, multiple-time world boxing champion.
one of the great men, one of my favorite people in the world, and I train with him all the time
You
because
don't spar him,
I get to train with him, and he teaches me the way you're probably supposed to teach, which is he'll throw shots at me, not full, obviously, but you learn a little bit of how to move if you're working with a guy that good, and then you get with a guy who's not good, you're going to be able to move a little better.
Did you
that's
see
all.
that he's involved in that semicolon thing where you get tattooed like a semicolon on your
Why?
arm to let you know that like life's not over. There's more to go. There's
I
more.
don't
more
know.
to the
Fuck
would
story.
we do
Never
that?
seen- never talked to him about that.
Anti-depression movement thing.
Oh.
Well, I'm not.
Well, he dealt with some stuff. I don't know how vocal he is, but I know, you know, being a fighter and having 350 fights. I mean, maybe he had. I don't want to speak out of turn, but I know he's been maybe involved in some of that stuff. But anyway,
So they get these tattoos to say they beat depression?
A
or-
dot with a comma on it, the semicolon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, which indicates there's more to come in the sentence. Like you don't end a sentence with that. There's more to come. You know, it's
I haven't
actually.
talked to him about that, but he's just one of those
It's on
guys.
his
that-
Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's obviously
he's one of those
about
dudes
it.
I love being around because he's just such a humble motherfucker.
Such a nice guy.
And it's like you're gonna teach me, and he really no matter when, where, he's always there, always present, and just such a fucking amazing guy.
Conor McGregor loves him.
I-
Gave him
yeah.
a hug on his way to the octagon.
Oh yeah,
But how
I
could he
consider
not?
it.
He's a legend in Ireland.
Super
Yeah.
legend.
It's
Pocket
like
rocket.
him and Barry McGuigan are the two biggest boxers from
Yeah.
Ireland, pretty much ever.
That's why I'm always so flattered that I even get to train with someone like that.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but you said
It-
spar with him.
Well, what I'm
That's what's
saying is that
weird.
he'll
Well, he
move around and
taps
punch me.
him.
Yeah, he'll punch me in the face if I don't have my hands up. But we do spar. He puts on headgear and he puts on, and we'll go, and he's not opening up on me.
He's not trying to kill you, but
No,
he does hit you a little
but you
bit.
learn, and when you do that
Yeah.
with someone like that, and then you go with somebody who's not, close to that, you can get out of the way.
But do you have any concern whatsoever about getting punched in the head, or
No,
just
because
not
I'm not
getting punched
taking.
that much?
I'm not getting punched that much.
So
See,
if
that's
you-
the problem. But you don't. See, even when Wayne hits you, that counts, my man.
it's worth it to me.
It's worth it.
Yeah, I love boxing, and I love the feeling.
You know,
and
who
I like
spars
moving
a
around.
lot. Louis C.K.
Really?
Yeah, we had a conversation about it. He goes, "I love it. I just love it. I love it. I love doing it." Yeah.
But guys
Yeah,
who
he's
love it
done-
also may not be getting, again, like it's one thing to get really hit. If you get even a good jab and you got a big headache, and that's what I avoid, because if you're fighting like Rocky at the gym, who fights a lot now, that kick can really hit.
Well,
And if for me,
Well,
he's
I
185
asked
pounds and he
Louis
can punch.
about it. He was like, "This the thrill. It's like he loves the thrill. Loves the thrill of sparring."
I just don't get it. If you're making money off your brain, I don't get why you would. Like,
Because he's not. I
It's just
think
a language you're
he's-
learning. It's really hard to
It
do.
hasn't been a detriment yet.
Yeah.
And so he's willing to take the chance for the thrill.
I like it because it's so hard. I like it because it's close to impossible to
For
be
some
good at it.
people, the feeling of being alive and taking any kind of risk and problem solving in a very
Yes.
like
Major living.
scary.
I get it.
You know what I mean?
That's
I
for me
get
what it is. Problem solving and learning patterns and seeing it actually work
And
sometimes.
it
which is
charges
like-
you up. Like
Yeah.
it makes you excited about doing other shit because of that. You know, for a lot of people,
I
it's
get
like-
it.
Yeah.
100%.
For you, it's different because, like, you were, first of all, at the highest level there is, professional UFC,
Yeah.
and you're sparring with guys like Shane Carwin, which is not even a little bit fun, right?
I can't even imagine that. I can't imagine.
You couldn't pay me to go to a boxing gym right now. I'll do jiu-jitsu, but if you said, hey, Brendan, come down here and let's box.
Yeah. Shout out to Box and Burn, though.
Couldn't pay me to
number
do
one gym in California, according to Men's Fitness. So we
it
should
really?
give them a,
Yeah.
Tony Jeffries and Wayne McCulloch down there.
Ooh.
If you guys want to learn boxing, it's a great place to work out.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, let's wrap this up because I got to get the fuck out of here.
All right.
So, big fucking fight this weekend.
Huge fights. Gonna be fun.
Come see me in
Your
Denver.
pick. Your pick. What happens?
On the main event,
Mendez McGregor. Come on, son.
if I'm betting money, I'm taking Mendez. My heart says Connor.
Bryan Callen.
I got Conor McGregor.
Really?
I do. I think he hits harder than people know and realize. And
Well,
I
no,
think he's
everyone
going to
thinks he
connect.
hits hard.
I think he's going to connect. I think he's bigger. It's a different kind of fighter for Chad Mendez. I think he's going to.
I hope you're right. We actually have a bet on it.
What do you
T-shirt
think?
sales of July.
That's right. We have
The whole month of
the
T-shirt
whole month.
sales?
That's
Whoa.
right.
That's no pun.
That's the month I'm going to start Instagramming it.
You motherfucker.
Someone's going to win
But
big.
Turbo, we don't drop Turbo Slut until August. Just promise me that.
dropping those next
Hey,
week,
bro,
son.
Come on, man. That was my idea.
All of a sudden, Turbo Slut's going to be a big seller. See?
Exactly.
Before, the conversation was Turbo Slut's really not worth doing.
yeah, now we're like,
it's like, hashtag Turbo Slut. It's
gonna be good.
But that as a shirt, hashtag Turbo Slut, I think that'll sell.
Me
I'll
too.
make that.
Simple. Keep it simple.
Might even be a
the one I'm
laptop
excited
sticker.
about is I have
Yeah.
a Never Grow Up, and it's Peter Pan that looks like Bryan Callen. It's just
like
fighting
that.
the kid on the back.
I like that.
I like that.
And then we have a Big Brown Master Kim tee dropping.
No, Big Brown Bear.
Big Brown
Based
bear.
on our
Yep.
song. Did you who do you have in this fight? Can you say?
I would say if I really had an inclination.
Okay.
I don't know.
What about Rory Robbie? How bad does that fight get overlooked since Connor?
Very badly
crazy.
overlooked. It's
Poor
really
guys.
it's really a shame because I love that fight.
Just as good a
But
fight.
They're going to get a piece of the pay-per-view, so they're going to
True.
benefit anyway. But I think that Rory McDonald and Robbie Lawler is a very fucking tough fight to call. We
Both of
talked
them are
about
so
it. I
tough,
don't know
man.
what the fuck's going to happen, and I don't know what the fuck's going to happen in the main event either. I don't have an opinion.
I don't either.
That's why
just
this is
like,
so
ooh.
exciting.
I don't
Yeah.
either.
But I know that's the biggest challenge Connor's ever faced.
Hands down.
But that's what we were saying before he fought Poirier, and he knocked out Poirier in the first round, and then does this.
Mendez is, I love Poirier, but Mendez is a far cry from Poirier.
Are we
Yes.
doing
Big
the fight
difference.
companion on
Fight companion
Yes,
on Saturday.
you guys. That's right. You guys are going to do a fight companion without me in my studio.
Yes.
right
This
here.
Saturday.
It's
nervous,
very
Joe
exciting.
Rogan.
It's very exciting. I'm excited.
Yeah, man.
I like it.
Our
I like
first
it.
one
I'm
without the
excited.
man.
Gotta
Yeah,
do
but
that.
is Eddie Bravo going to do it? Have you talked to
I
him?
don't
He's
know.
supposed to get back to me. I said, hey man, we're gonna do a companion. And he goes, without Rogan? That's crazy. I went, if you're scared, I get it.
Fighter and the Kid. What
Come
is the
see
what's
me.
the website?
Yeah, tfatk.com.
TFATK.com.
The Fighter and the Kid.com. Fighter and the Kid on iTunes. Bryan Callen on Twitter with a Y. B-R-Y.
Come see me in Denver next weekend, July 16th, 17th, 18th at Comedy Works downtown.
And he's with me in Chicago at the Chicago Theater. Good googly moogly Chicago.
Can't wait.
Brendan Schaub on Twitter and Instagram as well. All right, you
Yes.
fucks. We love the fuck out of you, and we'll see you soon. Much love, everybody.
Peace. Oh, that's good.